Wet, heavy, slushy spring snow, so you may need to get out there, shake off those tree branches. Up in the northern, central, and southern mountains, we could pick up a foot of snow by the time we get into tomorrow morning.
Now this.
A riddle brought to you by Progressive Insurance. What do your home and auto have in common? Progressive protects them both. It was an easy riddle. Learn more at Progressive.com.
Coming up, a SWAT team still surrounding an Everett motel right now. The latest on a barricade situation after Nate Connors at the Beacon Plumbing traffic test.
Hey, thanks, Aaron. Tell you what, there isn't anything good about this Friday's commute this afternoon. Just plan on adding 15 minutes or so to your commute across the region from Skagit County to Thurston County. We just have too many issues going on right now to get to all of them. Here are some of the bigger ones. Up in Everett, North 5 is packed from the Boeing Freeway all the way past 529. Everett to Marysville's at 35 minutes. A 15-minute delay here. Traffic is now stacked up on Broadway through downtown Everett as folks ditch the freeway, and now you're packed as you make your way across the Snohomish River on 529. South 5, you're going to slow from State Route 531 in Smoky Point past 529. Arlington to Everett is still a half-hour commute. Both of these backups through the area from an earlier collision near 529 they cleared almost 2 hours ago. Seattle to Everett, Bellevue to Everett, a little over an hour. Seattle to Federal Way has improved to 50 minutes. Bellevue to South Center is at 35. And North 5 in Nisqually, your left lane blocked near Brown Farm Road from a collision. Olympia to Tacoma is going to take you 50 minutes. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
KIRO News Radio, continuing coverage.
Good afternoon, I'm Aaron Gornello. We are into hour 3 of a standoff in Everett where a SWAT team is surrounding a motel. Details from KIRO 7 TV's Jason Sloss.
This is off Evergreen Way, right next to the Everett Golf and Country Club. That's where police say they are currently in a standoff with 2 shooting suspects who have locked themselves inside a nearby building.
And you are being asked to avoid the area. More details as we learn them. A middle school wrestling coach in Auburn now faces multiple charges of committing sex crimes involving a minor. Court documents say 64-year-old Daniel Lee convinced the 14-year-old girl to send him nude photos and videos, telling police he was, quote, flattered by the attention. Auburn PD spokesman Colby Crossley tells KIRO 7 TV.
It's extremely disturbing, and it's something that we want to take care of right away and make sure it doesn't happen again.
Lee coached at Olympic Middle School. He is no longer employed there. A second teenager is under arrest in connection with a deadly shooting at a house party in Des Moines last month. KIRO News Radio's James Lynch reports police took that teen into custody last night.
After an extensive undercover operation, Pierce County deputies and a SWAT team took the 18-year-old man into custody around 10 p.m. Deputy Carly Capetto tells us how it went down.
This suspect had not been identified until we were able to gather more evidence and review surveillance cameras and to gather enough information that we had a suspect that was outstanding.
2 young people were killed in that shooting. 4 others were injured. A 17-year-old suspect has already been charged with double murder. James Lynch, KIRO News Radio.
Those fake recordings of Jeff Bezos are no longer greeting people at some crosswalks in Seattle.
Hi, I'm Jeff Bezos. This crosswalk is sponsored by Amazon Prime.
KIRO 7 TV's Lindsay Sheldon says the city resolved that hack.
The message played Wednesday and at least part of Thursday at crosswalks in South Lake Union and the U District. But Seattle DOT tells us they are all fixed and is now looking at better security measures to prevent future hacking.
Weather update now brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Nothing but sunshine right now. A couple high clouds, but very, very pleasant out there. Low 70s across the map. Saturday and Sunday, we do have some scattered showers and temperatures in the upper 60s and low 60s. Upper 50s and low 60s, pardon me. Right now, 71 in downtown Seattle. I'm Aaron Granillo, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with a KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
Listen, I've got to give a clue here now. I don't want any more bullshit anytime during the day.
Okay.
From anyone. That includes me. It's going to be very hot. It's going to be very uncomfortable for everybody.
Very.
Want anybody yelling?
No.
We get anybody yelling around here anymore today, and then the is going to hit the fan.
No yelling, Aaron. No yelling. Here we go with the John Curley Show. Everybody, welcome. Oh, we already have somebody to play the know-it-all quiz.
We do.
Long-time listener.
Yes.
Big fan of Ursula's.
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't like when I take shots at Ursula.
No,
I'm going to write an Ursula question for her.
right.
All right, good.
By the way, I feel so bad for Aaron.
Hold on a second.
Why is that?
Don't feel bad for Aaron.
Because without a doubt, it is the most beautiful day of the year so far.
Oh,
in 2025. And it's Friday.
Yes.
Oh.
And I mean, Aaron was just ready to pack it up, get out of here, enjoy this beautiful day, and now he's got this dumb SWAT team response news that's probably going to go on for 8 more hours, and he can't leave.
He's a newsman. This is what he does. He has no real love other than news.
I am currently logging on to Apple TV to turn on the Mariners game.
Wait a minute. Hold on there, Mary Joseph. What the heck is going on?
I know, it's not en route tonight.
Oh, not on route. Mariners taking all the Blue Jays.
That's right. And they're about to, I think first pitch is just getting underway right now.
Golly, here we go.
Here we go.
Mariners.
All right. What do you think ends first, the Mariners game or the SWAT team?
Hold on, he's listening on some other stations. I mean, he had the Mariners on.
That is Apple TV going through the lineup right now. What was that question, Joe? Sorry.
What ends first, the
I'm
Mariners
still
game?
Here.
The Mariners game or
That's a good question.
the showdown, or what do they call it? A
standoff.
A standoff.
Barricade situation.
Yeah.
That's a good question. And, we probably shouldn't make light of what's going on in
You're
Everett
right,
because these are two potentially shooting suspects out there. But
how about Tim Harris? Who's pitching for the Mariners tonight?
Let's talk about that instead.
Who's fishing for the Mariners? Who's on the mound? Who's throwing a high heat?
Got Brian Wu on the mound.
Oh, the Wooster!
And Julio leading off.
Oh, yeah.
Gotta get Julio going.
Gotta get the bats going.
Yeah, well, the other bats are going. Everybody with Julio's these days.
Take is still available?
Let me look at the images here. The Rogers Center. Yeah, it looks like it. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Aaron.
You're welcome.
All right. And you'll give us continued updates on the standoff there.
I will.
Can I ask one more question?
Wait.
Sorry. When they play a game in Toronto, do they do both national anthems like they do at hockey games?
I think so. Don't quote me on that.
Okay.
But I think so.
Isn't that the game that when they come and they play here, they basically take up the entire...
Yes. Yeah, I went to a game last season. It's Blue Jays always outnumber Seattle fans, but that could change this year, so they say.
Oh.
Why is that?
Well, because of the ongoing tiff between the U.S. and Canada. And
when will they become our 50th first state?
Right. I don't think that's happening anytime soon, John. But no, obviously, tourism is down from Canada. And we did a story, I think it was last week, because Danny Westneat wrote the story for the Times. Tourism packages from Canada are down like 30-40% for that series. And the Clipper usually runs a couple of boats from Canada into here for that series, but they're down to like, one boat maybe for that weekend. So,
but you thought that, the thing about the Blue Jays fan, they do love to come over into the United States and take over the stadiums as they do the Mariners. Often there's more Blue Jays fans there are, and they're louder and they cheer more and often have more to cheer about. Yeah. You would think that they wouldn't let something like this happen. They wouldn't stop them.
There'll still be some. I don't think, though, it's going to be the same. They call it the Northern Invasion.
Yes.
Maybe a bit of a minimal migration this year. That's what we'll call it. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. In other news, the jaywalking, which, by the way, I always thought it was legal. I lived in New York City. This I loved about living in New York. Nobody cares about, when you're supposed to walk and not walk. People just always walk. But apparently it isn't. Did they ever pull anybody over for this? Jaywalking?
Well, jaywalking is officially a thing of the past, at least here in New York City. Today is the official rollback date for the offense, which was decriminalized months ago by the city council.
Let me tell you, hey, anybody's who's been in New York, nobody pays any attention to the walk and don't walk sign. People just go. When Paula and I got married and we moved here to the Northwest, she hated that about Northwesterners. With 2 a.m, there's no cars coming and people are standing there like just robot zombies waiting for the light to change. And she would bust right out there. And even later on, 11 o'clock in the morning, she just go right into traffic, just right in there. That's what New Yorkers do.
Very dangerous.
Yeah, really?
It can be.
For who?
For the pedestrian.
You just look ahead.
Yeah, as long as you're paying attention, I guess.
You know, in Vietnam, I've been in the S. Went to Vietnam.
Oh, yeah?
I was in the S. And the big boulevards, which were made by the same guys that did the boulevards in Paris, huge. And they don't have any crosswalks and stuff. And everybody's got a 50cc motorcycle. That's the only one they'll let you have, 50cc. So they all go about the same speed, very few cars. And I said to our interpreter, well, how do you cross this boulevard? How do you cross the road? Because no one's going to stop for anybody. He said, you just step out, move the same speed, do not look to the left, do not look and make eye contact with anybody. Just step out into the traffic when you have a little bit of an opening and just walk, and everyone will just go around you. But if you speed up, then you're going to get hit. So just look straight ahead and keep the same pace the whole way across. Because if you look to the left and make eye contact, then try to speed up, all those motorcycles will zip around you, but, just the same speed. Because they're going to judge their speed and their distance to you by how you are just walking right across the giant boulevards there in Vietnam.
663 pedestrians killed by motorists in Saigon in 2023, and that was a 10% decrease from a high in 2015.
Right. Those are mostly people that are not natives to the country. Those are a lot of people coming in there speeding up. Just step on out. 600 and some?
1,700 accidents, 663 deaths. That's motorists, motorcycles, cars hitting pedestrians.
We saw two motorcycles collide while going around one of the great big circles there in
roundabouts, right?
Yeah, big roundabouts they had in Saigon, and the two motorcyclists crash, and then they pick their bikes up, and then everybody stops, and then the oldest person sort of steps up. It's really interesting. The oldest guy stands there and listens to both sides. Well, you did this, and you cut me off, and you cut my back fender or whatever, and the bike crashed. The oldest guy listens to both sides and then makes the determination as who is at fault.
Really?
Yeah, instantly. And they respect the elderly, and normally it's a man, and he says, you're the one that's at fault. If any money has to change hands, it normally doesn't. And then they resolve it. They pick their motorcycles up and off they go. We actually saw it happen. It was really interesting to see that. And then the other thing they do is everybody's always stealing everybody's motorcycle, little motorbikes. And then some kid will come to you and say, I know where your motorbike is. If you give me, $5 or $3 or whatever it is, or $2, I'll tell you where your motorcycle is. And the person will say, okay, well, where is it? And then you go and the guy gives your motorcycle back. Well, it just turns out the same kid that told you where your motorcycle is the same kid that stole your motorcycle. They got a nice little business. Get you coming and going.
Oh,
that's how it works right there. Okay,
the
back to New York.
Okay.
Advocates of the change say the aim is to put a stop to another form of racial disparity in law enforcement. City records show more than 90% of jaywalking tickets were issued to Black and Latino people back in 2023.
Are they disproportionately more Black and Latino people jaywalking? Silence, because nobody knows that number. Could that be it?
Maybe.
Could that be it? Who knows? All right, so go ahead. You can jaywalk all you want now in New York City. Where's the other one? I thought there was another one that also got rid of it. Jaywalking was also just that. Just in New York, you could feel free to walk. But in Seattle, still continue to stand there. No cars coming. Everybody waiting for that light to change.
You're exaggerating.
I'm not exaggerating.
I live downtown. I do it all the time. I see people do it all the time. And
hold on. You've never seen the people stand there while there's no cars coming and they're waiting.
Not at like 11 p.m. like you're describing.
But you've seen no cars coming. We'll change the time. No cars and waiting dutifully for the light to change. No cars, nowhere in sight, and they're waiting there like zombies. Like robot people, right? With their masks on and their pajamas on.
Okay.
Right?
Sometimes, yeah.
Okay. I'm learning to try to be a better person and forgive the people that are wearing masks outside and pajamas outside. I haven't been able to, reach that level of sort of Buddhism.
You'll feel better when you do.
the mask that people wear outside is like a bumper sticker for the face.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's a way of you're protesting something.
Sure.
Right. But you seem dumb.
Well, they have, and recently there was some Antifa flyers that basically said, if you're not wearing a mask, you're not doing it right. So if you fall into that category.
Doing what? Hitting people over the head, smashing cars, stuff like that?
Whatever their mission is. Yeah.
Okay. Here's the mission. This guy he is the director of the White House Office of Science and Technology, Michael Kritakis.
Got to be a Greek name, right?
Yeah, it's a Greek name.
Yeah.
He's gone viral because he said that in a recent speech, somehow they're going to be able to manipulate time and space and leave distance annihilated. Wow. This is all how?
So he's speaking to a bunch of corporate bigwigs and
tech people,
and minerals and building and
he says here we're going to manipulate time and space.
Stagnation was a choice. We have weighed down our builders and innovators. The well-intentioned regulatory regime of the 1970s became an ever-tightening ratchet, first hampering America's ability to become a net energy exporter and then making it harder and harder to build. We seem to have lost focus and vision, to have lowered our sights and let systems and structures and bureaucracies muddle us along. But we are capable of so much more. Our technologies permit us to manipulate time and space. They leave distance annihilated, cause things to grow and improve productivity.
Wow. Wow, how's all that going to happen? What does he mean? We talked about this before. NEPA, which is the National Environmental something or other set up under the Nixon administration. It was when it first started, it was about 7 pages, basically saying if you're going to build something, you can't, hurt the environment and stuff. We used to be able to build stuff very, very quickly. The Empire State Building was built in 1 year. They say, whether I was apocryphal or not, that the steel coming in order to build the Empire State Building was still hot. That's how fast they were moving. They built the Pentagon in 18 months. They were able to build things very, very quickly. The Alaska Highway was built, I think, in 9 months. It was 100 miles long and had to cut through woods and all sorts of problems. They're fighting bears as well. But then once they get these slow environmentalists, there's about 3 groups that sue constantly. So by the time the plan is designed and by the time the building happens, it could be as much as like 18 years till finally they actually build something. He talks about reshaping how our government uses public funds.
In a moment of strategic significance, we must be more creative in our use of public research and development money and shape a funding environment that makes clear what our national priorities are. Whether in AI, quantum, biotech, or next-generation semiconductors, in partnership with the private sector and academia, it is the duty of government to enable scientists to create new theories and empower engineers to put them into practice.
Okay. And then something like the golden age of innovation. This is what we need. Like send Katy Perry up into outer space, stuff like that.
The golden age of American innovation is on our horizon, if we choose it. The task ahead of us is to adapt to new realities without destroying the American way of life or disinheriting the American worker. We seek, in the most basic terms, to secure our economy, restore our middle class, and uphold America as the planet's best home for innovators. I bear that responsibility as a President's Science Advisor. You bear it too, in exercising whatever powers and responsibilities you have. It is the choices of individuals that will make the new golden age possible. The choice of individuals to master the sclerosis of the state, and the choice of individuals to craft new technologies and give themselves to scientific discoveries that will bend space and time, make more with less, and drive us further into the endless frontier. Thank you.
It's a really fascinating speech he gave, the whole thing.
It is. I have to say something, though. Has he spoken to Donald Trump about this? Because Trump and his sort of isolationists, we're going to do it all on our own. We don't need to support NATO. We don't need to support our allies. We can be strong on our own. We can build stuff on our own. We can sort of be like Britain was prior to when Attlee got in there and said, "Oh, we're going to build our own stuff. We're going to bring back our economy and isolate ourselves from the world." Well, that didn't work out so well. And then Great Britain, of course, was the power, and then it was given over to the United States. We became the superpower. We're number one. China is right behind us. And now with this idea of these tariffs and this, sort of breaking down of the structure that was in place, I don't think this is going to bode well for the U.S. In fact, we're all going to go to school in just a little bit because our professor's coming in from the University of Austin. Ben's going to come in. And I asked him, I said, "We want to talk about," and oh my God, talk about so depressing. And I didn't even bother asking him for something positive. He says, how about, this is what he's going to talk about, most people have no idea how much damage has already been done to our economy and how bad things are going to be getting in the next couple of months and years.
Well, that sounds fun. That's good for Good Friday.
I'll get one interesting thing. China is 2 steps ahead of Donald Trump because when he was running, they saw what he said. We're going to do all these tariffs. So Xi Jinping, the president of China, went and said, "Okay, let's get ready for what we know is coming." So he supercharges the economy, creating more consumerism in China. Then he also meets with the tech industry. He makes amends with them, and he's got big plans. And here's the prediction I'll make, and I'll see what the professor says, that I think once these tariffs hit, inflation goes up, unemployment goes up as well. I think at that point, China then invades Taiwan. Our allies that would work with us will not work with us. China takes Taiwan, and by taking Taiwan, they take the chip industry and then leaps and bounds ahead of the U.S. when it comes to AI, and then they become the dominant power in the world within 2 years.
Interesting.
And then something positive to come out of that. I don't know. All right, let's go to Nate, the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Desk. Nate, hi.
All right, Beacon Plumbing has this update. Everett to Marysville, down to a half-hour commute, but you're far from in the clear. Still packed from the Boeing Freeway up to State Route 529. Marysville to Everett, 15 minutes. You're crowded from 136 down to the Union Slough. Seattle to Everett and Bellevue to Everett are both 1-hour commutes. North 5 has heavy volumes from Northgate through Linwood. North 405, scattered backups between Kirkland and Alderwood starting near Northeast 60th. Everett to Seattle is a 1-hour drive. You got a brief backup near the Boeing Freeway, and then your typical afternoon backup from Northgate to I-90. Everett to Bellevue is just a half-hour trip. Federal Way, westbound 18 at I-5, got a stall block in the left lane at your on-ramp to South 5. Looks like they're getting ready to clear this, though, but you're backed up to the West Valley Highway, and we're still dealing with a collision in Nisqually, North 5 at Brown Farm Road, blocking that left lane. You're backed up into Lacey, Olympia to Tacoma, 40 minutes. For all of your heating, electrical, septic, and mechanical needs, stop freaking, call Beacon. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
Welcome to Staples.
Hi, I hear Staples prints it all.
Oh, you bet. Posters, banners.
Can you print it all for Mother's Day?
Oh, of course. Photo gifts like canvas prints, photo puzzles.
Can you print it all for graduation?
Sure can. Custom cards and invites.
Can you print a huge banner with the grad's picture?
Oh, definitely.
Even an embarrassing baby picture?
Oh, those are the best kind.
I know, right?
Print it all for moms and grads at Staples. And right now, get 40% off custom cards, invites, and photo gifts. N75 exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for details.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-838-6161. That's 800-838-6161. 800-838-6161.
This Easter, we invite you to share your egg-siding creations with us. Hartley Wilcox here. Submit your beautifully decorated Easter egg photos to our Wilcox Family Farms Facebook page and join the community in celebrating this joyous holiday. For over a century, our farm-fresh eggs have been a part of your cherished traditions. From our family to yours, we wish you a happy and colorful Easter filled with love, joy, and delicious Wilcox eggs. Wilcox Family Farms, locally fresh since 1909.
Did you hear?
A recent stash of $10 gold Liberty coins from the 1800s has been found. These gorgeous gold coins are as bright and shiny as the day they were struck in the late 1800s, and less than 200 of these gold coins are available. Coin experts are calling this gold find an incredible opportunity. Call 1-800-917-4635, and you are guaranteed a $10 gold Liberty coin minted by the U.S. Mint in the 1800s. But with extremely limited availability, you must call now. These gold Liberty coins from the 1800s are still in uncirculated condition. That is history you can hold in your hand. To learn more, call 1-800-917-4635. Call now and you'll receive a free American Coin Collector's Bonus Package, a $40 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-917-4635 now to secure your $10 gold Liberty coins dated from the 1800s before they sell out. That's 1-800-917-4635.
At the Harnish Auto family, people matter isn't just a saying, it's how they do business. For over 40 years, their dealerships, Chevy, Buick, GMC, Volkswagen, Subaru of Puyallup, plus Chevrolet and Kia of Everett, have built a stellar reputation on trust, respect, and great deals. From supporting local charities to making sure every customer drives away happy, they're here for you. Stop by any of their dealerships or visit HarnishAutoFamily.com and find your next car today. Harnish Auto Family. People matter.
Are you putting off your new kitchen plans? Why wait? Hi, I'm Chad Cicchini, owner of Heritage Homecraft, and we've got an offer you're not going to want to wait for. We'll custom build you all new cabinet doors and drawer fronts, and using our exclusive 1/4-inch solid wood refacing process, transform your existing cabinets into a beautiful new kitchen. Add a custom quartz countertop, change things up a bit, add some more cabinets, install some cool new features like soft close drawers and sliding shelves. Whatever you like, we'll help you create the new kitchen you'll be proud of. All in about a week, and all with way less mess, hassle, and expense than a tear-out. Stop waiting. We're having a trade-in sale. You'll save $30 per door and drawer front off the cost of your new kitchen. Count them up and see how much you'll save. Years of experience, thousands of happy customers. Call today and let one of our pros come out and show you how easy and comfortable it'll be to get going on your new kitchen. Heritage Homecraft, 425-485-1600, 425-485-1600, or heritagehomecraft.com.
Ladies, and you guys too, have you noticed visible signs of aging, those deep wrinkles, fine lines, and facial creases stealing your youthful glow? Sagging skin, crow's feet, and loss of facial contour are all natural effects of aging, but you no longer have to let them define your appearance. Introducing the New Skin Lift, the groundbreaking facelift led by Dr. Brian Scott. The advanced New Skin Lift addresses key signs of facial aging for women and men, restoring natural youthful contours. Whether it's replenishing volume lost over time or lifting the skin to smooth out those creases, the New Skin Lift can help you look 10 to 20 years younger with both surgical and non-surgical options. It's Hollywood's best kept secret and now available to you. Get a free consultation and save $250 off your New Skin facelift. Schedule at newskinlift.com or 206-222-1225. Look 10 to 20 years younger and restore your youthful appearance with the New Skin facelift. newskinlift.com.
KIRO News Radio, continuing coverage.
Good afternoon, I'm Aaron Granillo. Details remain scarce at this hour on that standoff in Everett, but we can tell you a SWAT team is surrounding a motel on Evergreen Way. This is near the Everett Golf and Country Club. Police say 2 shooting suspects locked themselves inside and are refusing to surrender. This all started at around 1:30. Still unclear what led up to the situation, but police are asking you to avoid the area. University of Washington graduate students may have his visa reinstated. A federal judge issued the order after ICE terminated the student's status due to a pending DUI case 2 years ago. More from KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey.
Chief Judge David Estudio said the government failed to follow its own regulations when they terminated the UW students' records from a federal database that tracks all student visas. Without those records, the Chinese grad student named John Doe in court documents would lose his visa status, ending his doctoral studies. Attorneys for the government argued ICE agents can make edits to their database whenever they want. The judge said while that's true for violent crimes, it's not true for misdemeanors. The judge's order means John Doe now has 14 days to make his case or possibly be detained by ICE. Luke Ducey, KIRO News Radio.
Also at the University of Washington, 23 international students learned their visas have been canceled. UW representatives tell us the cancellations occurred without prior notice to the university or the affected students. A U.S. Supreme Court hearing over birthright citizenship is now set for May 15th, but as CBS's legal analyst Jan Crawford says,
Trump administration didn't ask the Supreme Court to consider the underlying issue of birthright citizenship. They asked the court to look at this issue of nationwide injunctions. It just happens to be in this birthright citizenship case.
Federal judge in Seattle blocked the order on birthrights after Washington's attorney general sued. White House has expressed frustration with lower court judges blocking the president's orders. A new study confirms armored dinosaurs with club-like tails roamed British Columbia some 100 million years ago. Researchers say they analyzed foot-long fossilized footprints recently found in that area. They say the 15 to 20-foot-long dinosaurs were likely plant eaters. Let's go now to the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Desk at 4:33. Here's Nate Connors.
All right, Aaron, Seattle Sports has this update. Everett to Marysville is a half-hour drive with pretty thick backup still from the Boeing Freeway up to State Route 529. Seattle to Everett and Bellevue to Everett are both going to take you 1 hour. North 5 has heavy volumes from Northgate through Linwood. North 405 scattered backups from Kirkland into Alderwood. Everett to Seattle is a 1 hour drive. Got a brief backup there at the Boeing Freeway in South Everett, and then you're packed from Northgate to I-90. That is typical. Everett to Bellevue is just a half hour. You are a little crowded, though, between Alderwood and Canyon Park. Bellevue to South Center is another 35 minutes. Heavy volumes from Southeast 8th to the VMAC. Another big backup through South Center. Renton to Puyallup on the Valley Freeway is a 45-minute trip. And in Nisqually, North 5 at Brown Farm Road, a collision still blocks that left lane. You're backed up into Lacey. Olympia to Tacoma, still hovering at 40 minutes. Download the Seattle Sports app to stay in the know with the latest news, scores, and opinions about your favorite teams. KIRO Newsradio Real-Time Traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
Thank you, Nate. Your forecast is brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Starting to see a couple of high clouds roll through, but overall just a very gorgeous, pleasant evening out there. We'll see temperatures stay in the 70s for a few more hours. Overnight lows right around 50. And then tomorrow and Sunday, some scattered showers. Highs in the upper 50s and low 60s. Right now, 72 in downtown Seattle. I'm Aaron Granillo, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
KIRO 7 News starting at 4. When you need to stay plugged in and connected, they've got you. Live breaking news so you know what's happening now. Investigations and in-depth coverage to get you answers. Weather on the way to help you prepare. Bringing the day's biggest stories into focus so you know more. Watch KIRO 7 News at 4, 5, and 6 only on KIRO 7 TV.
Thank you, Joe. Well said, well read. I felt like I was there the whole time. Really, you're just sucking me in.
Hey, thanks.
You're welcome. All right. Buggy's Auto Service Centers, they've got 16 locations. They've been around for 55 years. You got to take your car somewhere. Why take it anywhere else? Take it over to Bucky's Auto Service Centers, where the men and women were wearing rubber gloves long before it was fashionable.
Someday I'll get that.
What do you mean?
The joke.
It's not a joke. It's true.
Really?
Not everything I say has to have a punchline.
I'm going to have to Googleize that.
Stalling, waiting for Andrew to let me know. No. There it is. Texas fight. Our professor. There you are from the University of Texas, Austin. You ready to go, Ben?
John, thanks for having me back and for welcoming me with the Texas fight song.
Is that you guys? Is that your Texas fight song?
That was our Texas fight song.
Okay, good. All right, good. All right, when I said, hey, you want to come on today, you got something good. Man, this is so depressing what you wrote. Basically just laying out, you said that people have no idea, like spoken like a true professor. Most people have no idea how much damage has already been done to our economy and how bad things are going to go in the next couple of months and years. Thanks a lot, Ben. Thanks for joining us. Bye-bye.
Yeah, I just came here to brighten up your day.
Yes. Okay. So let's take the first part. Why don't people know how bad things are going to be?
That negative statement from me is very unusual. As you know,
Yes.
I am an eternal optimist.
Yes, you are.
And I always tend to look at things as forward-looking. But what we're seeing right now with these tariffs is an immediate increase in our prices that we're going to be paying for things. Tariffs are a tax. a tax that shows up in prices, and we're going to see across the board price increases on everything that we buy. And 10% is what went into effect on April 5th, but it also gets worse because for certain things like steel, there's now a 25% tariff, which is going to directly impact production, like for Boeing in aircraft.
Yes. And another example of it, I was reading a piece about a small brewery that imports aluminum for their cans. Well, now the cost of aluminum coming in from Canada is so high, they have to find a new supply source, so they're switching to bottles. But now they can't find enough bottles, right? Because everyone's trying to they're outsourcing in a new route. If aluminum is too expensive and it's not going to work for them when it comes to their margins, then bottles would be the way to go. But now there are no bottles. So these breweries are thinking, well, how can we possibly produce enough beer at a reasonable cost that we could pass on to the consumer? So we'll begin to feel it in a whole bunch of different ways. And the reason people are not aware of this is because it hasn't hit their pocketbook yet?
It hasn't hit their pocketbook yet, and what we're seeing is unprecedented within the lifetime of most Americans. When I was 7 years old, I was actually had my picture in the Arizona Republic with standing in line to get gasoline with a gas can for my parents.
Yes.
And that's the last time we really had any kind of severe shortages of anything in this country. We're going to be looking at the shortage. You talked about bottles. We're going to be looking at shortages of all kinds of things as costs go up, as we get these retaliation from other countries that then put their own tariffs in place. And we will start to see shortages on things. It's not just rising prices, but we could be facing shortages on basic things we buy as well.
And then once the shortages are in place, then the costs will move up as well, because whenever there's a limited supply and demand still remains high, you can get hoarding. You'll get what people consider to be price gouging, although they don't believe in that. And the average American will feel this. I've seen anywhere between $1,700 or as much as $5,000 in their annual budgeting of just basically paying for goods that they need.
And that's direct economic impact. What we're also seeing is significant destabilization of the way we move our goods, export our goods around the world. We're suddenly going to see some of the things we produce, like Washington apples and cherries that are shipped out of the port of Seattle, are going to suddenly be stacking up there because China is going to essentially block those imports in retaliation for our 145% tariffs we're putting on their goods.
The president believes he holds the cards because of just the imbalance of trade. But we have seen before what the president of China can do to its people. We saw it during COVID. They can very extreme measures to suppress any pain that they may be feeling. He has complete dominance and control over his people. And I was reading earlier that he saw this coming, so he overstimulated the economy in order to get more consumerism going. He also, at the same time, met with tech industry to be able to sort of amend some of the fractious relationship between the tech people and the communist-controlled government there. And really, it is Xi Jinping has more cards and more power than the president has. Do you agree with that?
I don't know that it's more power overall. I would say both the U.S. and China have power in their own way. We have power because we have historically been a large market for them. They have power because they're producing a bunch of things that we need and that currently can't be sourced anyplace else. And as you mentioned, we saw this with COVID, whereas Americans, even regardless of what COVID restrictions were put in place, we could move around as we wanted to. That wasn't true in China. The Chinese government made people just stay in their apartments. They couldn't go out at all. And that's the type of control that they have to be able to assert whatever discipline they would choose to do in response to what they view as our punitive tariffs at this 145% level.
So the American people vote with their pocketbook, as Clinton's people were told. It's the economy, stupid. I don't believe the president will be as popular as he believes he is once people start to feel the pinch in their pocketbook. And they will not stand by this. And even his most devoted fans will have to let him go. Do you agree?
Ted Cruz on April 4th said, quote, Republicans face a midterms bloodbath if Trump tariffs continue.
Do you think that are they seeing this now? Does somebody have his ear that's telling him, stop this immediately? It will not be a sign of weakness, but if you don't do this, we're going to go into a recession, possibly a depression. We'll see inflation and unemployment skyrocket.
There is a story in the Washington Post. You and I, John, all we know about the insides of this is what's reported in the press. There's a story in the Washington Post about how Peter Navarro, who is Trump's trade advisor, was in another meeting, and then other Trump financial advisors used that as a chance to go into the Oval Office when Navarro wasn't around and try to talk him out of these tariffs.
Yeah. I don't understand. I don't know what planet Navarro comes from. I do know that he created a false economist by using the reverse of his last name and then printed his research. Navarro was quoting his made-up economy. You know that whole story? This guy is Cuckoo Raja.
It was economists around the world, and particularly in the U.S., absolutely disagree violently with his assumptions. And this shows up in the way that they briefly tried to put in place these what they called reciprocal tariffs. The single highest tariff was put in place of 50% on the African nation of Lesotho, under the theory that they export $300 million to us, but they only buy $7 million of stuff from us. Therefore, 50% tariff on you, Lesotho.
I hope somebody gets his ear and we are able to stop this, because this particular fight will not end well for Americans. Ben, have yourself a fabulous weekend, and next time you come back on, have something positive to say, okay?
I'll make a point of it. Thanks,
okay,
John.
We're taking you out. Fight song. There he goes. We are auditing Ben's class. Thank you, Ben. Appreciate that. All right, let's go over to Nate in the Big Pump Traffic Desk.
Yipper, Everett to Marysville, a half hour, 10-minute delay because we still got a hefty backup starting just north of the Boeing Freeway up to State Route 529. Getting to Everett from Seattle and Bellevue are both 55 minutes now. Everett to Seattle is a solid hour, with most of this with a backup from Northgate to I-90. And on the water, the Seattle-Bainbridge Island route has a 90-minute wait for drivers at the Seattle terminal. Edmonds Terminal now reporting a 2-hour wait for drivers, and we still have a 1-hour wait for drivers at the Mukilteo Terminal. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
Hello, friends. I'm Phil Briggs, former Navy journalist and now host of CBS Eye on Veterans weekly radio show, here for my friends at Navy Federal Credit Union. Navy Federal knows how fast life moves. That's why they have all-in-one banking to let you keep on banking on, saving time and money and getting a full picture of all of your finances. And whether you have credit or not, you can build your credit score with the new ability to report on-time bill payments. Learn how you can keep on banking on at NavyFederal.org. Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
Guys take better care of their cars than they do themselves. I know it's a sweeping generalization, but I think it is, well, if you think about it, it's probably true. You hit your 50s, you're a guy, you're like, well, this is just what happens. I'm going to get fat, I'm going to get lazy, I'm going to gain weight, I'm not going to go to the gym, I'm going to lose sort of any sort of spunk I've got. But if you look up at the top left-hand side of that windshield of yours, you see that you have to change the oil in a couple of thousand miles. You do that dutifully because you don't want your car to break down. You just expect, well, your car to keep going, and you expect your body to break down. Let's for a moment think about maybe not having that mindset and thinking about extending your life and having lots of energy and feeling really good. and not just giving over to the fact, well, everybody ages. How about Longevity Medical Clinic? For 25 years, the doctors there have worked with individuals that just don't want to get old. They know they're getting old, but they don't want to get the big bad stuff like the heart disease and the diabetes and cancer that really, really crushes the vitality of your life. You can find out more. You can sign up just like I did back in 2009. I love being a patient there. Take that free health analysis. That's where it all starts at longevitymedicalclinic.com.
Need a new roof now? With State Roofing and Exteriors, you can get started with 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to 24 months. That's right. Protect your home now and pay later. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today.
Now is your time to get into a new D.R. Horton home by taking advantage of their National Red Tag Sales event going on right now through April 20th. Stop by any of their participating communities and find select Red Tag homes at incredible pricing. So whether you're buying your first home or looking for an upgrade, you don't want to miss the Red Tag Sales event going on right now. Discover the D.R. Horton difference at drhorton.com. That's drhorton.com. D.R. Horton, America's builder and equal housing opportunity builder.
Hey there, I'm Jack.
And I'm Stag.
We're just two deer that want to make sure you know it's deer season at your authorized John Deere dealer. The deer season that saves bucks. You know, like us.
Yeah, you can get $3,000 off select John Deere machines. No early wake-up calls or tree stands required.
Just a trip to your authorized dealer before June 2nd.
If you ask us, it's the only deer season worth celebrating.
Visit johndeere.com/deer season to find an authorized dealer and for complete finance details.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
Swim your way to a healthier you with an endless pool swim spa from Olympic Hot Tub. During our spring savings event, save up to $9,000 on an endless pools package, free Bluetooth music, and more. OlympicHotTub.com. Better you, better life.
Hey, how's your money situation? Are you ready for retirement? Well, if you want to know what the pros are doing to make wealth multiply and retire like royalty, then you need to listen to this show, Sound Path Through Retirement, with Ben Koval and Matt Leibarger. Get your money right and tune in every weekend, Saturdays at 10 a.m. and noon on KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM.
Start having fun. Caesar Sportsbook at Muckleshoot Casino Resort is your #1 place to eat, drink, watch, and have fun. Keep up with your favorite sports anywhere and everywhere on property with the mobile app. Visit muckleshootcasino.com today. Scan the QR code and let the play begin.
Muckleshoot. Experience the thrill of seeing orcas and humpback whales with Puget Sound Express. Join their family-run tours for guaranteed whale sightings, departing daily from Edmonds. These are Seattle's most popular and well-reviewed whale tours. Book now at PugetSoundExpress.com.
Boom, boom, boom. Oh, I still owe you a bunch of quiz questions. I've only written 2, Joe. I'm sorry about that. All right. What, you got your microphone? What are you doing in there?
I don't know. Oh,
there you are. There you are.
Andrew, you owe me 2 more.
Okay, 2 more on that.
Yes.
You owe me a text.
Oh, I got hundreds of them. How about Tiffany in Puyallup? She says, "Hey, John, thanks for mentioning Jack. I really miss his show and have been wondering how he's doing. I'm so glad to hear he's doing well in sunny Hawaii. Oh, and by the way, I jotted down the quote by the priest. Pain and suffering not transformed is transmitted. That's a keeper. Happy Easter. Christos Anesti. Nicole will know what that means.
Yes, she will.
Happy Easter in Greek.
Yeah. Nick wants to go to an Greek Orthodox church on Sunday.
There's a couple to choose from.
I know you know that because your sister is
a nun in the Greek Orthodox Church. Yes,
over in Eastern Washington.
She is, right in between Goldendale, which nobody's ever heard of, but it's.
Whoa! The folks in Goldendale would beg to differ.
That's right. We had the sheriff on one time.
Yes,
he was crazy. Near between Yakima and Oregon, basically.
On the thing that Father Brian said about pain.
Yes,
I had heard this as well. That all hurt stems from unrecognized. All pain stems from unrecognized hurt. So envy, jealousy, resentment, anger, all of these things. That if someone has hurt you in some way and then not recognized it, then you carry that pain with you until eventually someone recognizes that you had hurt this individual. And they always say that a scar is not where you were cut. A scar is where you were healed. So it's a different sort of, flip the perspective on something like that. And the time remaining, I'll tell you the story if I don't know if I've told it before. There's a psychiatrist that had a mother and a son would come in every single, once a month and sit in his office and hardly speak at all. And they would sit there and they would do this for years and years and years. And he couldn't get any progress with healing these two people. And then he had came upon this idea that negative emotion stems from unrecognized hurt. And the next time they sat before him, he said, "Can you please tell me what your mom did?" This kid opens up with a story from 25 years ago. And the mother says, "I have no idea that happened. I don't remember that happening." And that was the unrecognized hurt that stayed with this kid. And he kept the pain there. And he scratched at his own sort of pain to keep the pain present until it could be recognized. And then there was a great resolution between the two. So, boy, time flies when you're just trying to say something profound. Like Nate over there in the Beacon Plumbing traffic desk. Nathan?
All righty. It's a busy one out there. Everett Marysville is taking you a half hour still. About a 10-minute delay here. Got a hefty backup from 41st now up to State Route 529. Seattle to Everett and Bellevue to Everett are both right around 55 minutes each. North 5, you've got heavy volumes from Northgate through Linwood. North 405, it's scattered backups between Kirkland and Alderwood. Everett to Seattle still taking right around an hour. Got a brief backup there in South Everett starting at the Boeing Freeway, and then that daily backup from Northgate to I-90. Your Lake Bridges are looking pretty good, though. Seattle to Federal Way is at 35 minutes. Renton to Puyallup is at 40. And we've got a new collision in downtown Renton. It's a northbound 167 right there at the intersection of Grady Way, blocking the left lane. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
KIRO News Radio, your home for G and Ursula, 9 to noon.
I don't like caps on rent. You got one time to get the wrong renter in your crib. If you get it wrong, that person says, "I'm not paying rent. You know what? I'm going to stay in this home." In the state of Washington, they have made it so easy for people to squat. Our tax dollars give them money to fight against the landlord.
There are a lot of people who are really hurting, and I think both can be true.
Streaming live on your smart speaker.
Your home is probably your biggest investment in your family's future, and giving your home the very best protection takes integrity. Hi, Spike O'Neill for Integrity Roofing and Construction. Local family-owned Integrity RC has been named Best Roofing and Construction Company year after year, and they're more than just a roofing company. Integrity offers fully integrated services for your entire home. They use only the best eco-friendly, sustainable products that last longer. No nonsense, complete transparency, and never any high-pressure sales. Integrity RC lives up to their name. Call today for a free estimate at 206-202-ROOF or visit integrityrc.com.
Here in the Pacific Northwest, windows can be one of the best investments you can make to add value to your home. At Dunn Lumber, we have designated Marvin window specialists who have been trained by Marvin to best serve your needs. If you need help finding the right windows for your home, come by one of our 4 Dunn Lumber window showrooms or reach out to me personally, Mike Dunn at DunnLumber.com.
Dunn Lumber, building success together.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Have you noticed mold, mildew, bowing walls, or water in your basement? I hope not, but if you have, your basement is losing the war against groundwater. That's where Groundworks comes in. They can honestly assess your situation and create a plan to waterproof your basement and stabilize your walls. Schedule your free inspection at groundworks.com/row. And while you're there, check out my latest dirty job. It's a good one.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
This Easter, we invite you to share your egg-siding creations with us. Hartley Wilcox here. Submit your beautifully decorated Easter egg photos to our Wilcox Family Farms Facebook page and join the community in celebrating this joyous holiday. For over a century, our farm fresh eggs have been a part of your cherished traditions. From our family to yours, we wish you a happy and colorful Easter filled with love, joy, and delicious Wilcox eggs. Wilcox Family Farms, locally fresh since 1909.
Hey there, I'm Jack.
And I'm Stag.
We're just two deer that want to make sure you know it's deer season at your authorized John Deere dealer. The deer season that saves bucks. You know, like us.
Yeah, you can get $3,000 off select John Deere machines. No early wake-up calls or tree stands required.
Just a trip to your authorized dealer before June 2nd.
If you ask us, it's the only deer season worth celebrating.
Visit johndeere.com/deer season to find an authorized dealer and for complete finance details.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small. Loud or quiet, find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Did you know that over the past 10 years, home values have increased the most during the first quarter of the year? So how much is your home worth right now? Check it out instantly at sellwithwest.com. Sure, there are other apps out there you can use, but most of them are national companies. If you want local expertise, someone who actually knows what's happening with the housing market in your neighborhood, there's no one more local than Wes Jones. If you're even thinking about making a move in 2025, go to sellwithwest.com, sellwithwest.com, and start by using their free home value calculator to see what your home is worth. It might be worth more than you think. You'll get so much more than just a number from Wes Jones. We're talking about recent sales in your neighborhood, the market temperature in your city, side-by-side comparisons of multiple online estimates. You can even calculate how much equity you have, and even a breakdown of how your home's value has changed over time. So here's what you have to do. Go to sellwithwest.com, type in your address, and bam, you'll have instant access to all of this and more. It's fast, easy, it's local. Sellwithwest.com, a better way to sell your home.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
This week at Jazz Alley, join Madeline Peru on her Let's Walk tour, April 17th through 20th. With her honeyed voice and mix of jazz, folk, and pop, Madeline's music is a journey for the soul. Get your tickets at jazzalley.com.
Your best source for local news. KIRO News Radio. KIRO FM and HD1. Tacoma, Seattle. Northwest News.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Jennifer Kuiper. Maryland Senator Chris Van Hollen is back from El Salvador, where he met with a man who was mistakenly deported there. WTOP Scott Gelman with details.
Here at Dulles Airport, Senator Chris Van Hollen says his meeting with Kilmar Abrego Garcia lasted about an hour.
Well, I think the reason they relented is pretty clear. They were feeling the pressure.
He's been transferred out of the notorious Secot prison, but is upset because he said he hasn't committed any crimes.
He said that thinking of you, members of his family, is what gave him the strength to persevere, to keep going day to day, even under these awful circumstances.
Scott Gelman for CBS News, Washington.
Hundreds showed up for a vigil today at Florida State University as authorities work to figure out what led to a deadly mass shooting on the campus yesterday. 2 people were killed and 6 others injured. The suspect, who was injured in a shootout with police, remains in the hospital. CBS's Katie Weiss reports from Tallahassee.
FSU students and faculty grappling with the tragedy have been coming together to comfort one another and place flowers and mementos.
Everybody's still in shock of what happened. It was obviously a very devastating time yesterday.
Police identified the suspect as 20-year-old Phoenix Eichner, an FSU student and stepson of a local sheriff's deputy.
Investigators say he is not cooperating. The White House weighs in on talks to end Russia's war in Ukraine. CBS's Natalie Brand with more.
President Trump says he wants to see Ukraine and Russia quickly make a deal to end the war.
I think we have a really good chance of getting it done, and it's coming to a head right now.
His comments came hours after Secretary of State Marco Rubio warned that the U.S. could move on from negotiations if progress isn't made in the coming days.
We are now reaching a point where we need to decide and determine whether this is even possible or not.
The Pentagon says it will reduce the number of troops it has deployed in Syria from around 2,000 to less than 1,000 in the coming months. Harvard is getting some financial help as it battles the Trump administration. CBS's Michael Wallace explains.
The feds have frozen $2.2 billion of Harvard's funding, believing it has not done enough to combat anti-Semitism. The New York Times reports alumni who have never donated to Harvard before are now giving money to help fight back.
Thousands of Catholics are making the trek to a historic adobe church in the hills of northern New Mexico as part of a Holy Week tradition spanning generations. It culminates today in displays of faith, reflection, and repentance on backcountry highways. The church at Chimayo is renowned for a tiny indoor well of holy dirt thought to have curative powers. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Coming up, we have the latest on that hours-long standoff in Everett after Nate Connors at the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Desk.
All right, thanks, Aaron. Let's go Everett to Marysville. It's bumped up a little bit to 35 minutes. You got a thick backup from 41st all the way into Marysville. Coming the other way, Marysville to Everett, 15 minutes, but you're pretty slow. An extensive backup starts at State Route 531 and Smoky Point, goes all the way down to State Route 529. It's just heavy volumes in both of these backups. Seattle to Everett and Bellevue to Everett is still right around 50 to 55 minutes. North 5 is heavy from Northgate through Linwood. Northbound 405 has scattered backups between Kirkland and Alderwood. Everett to Seattle is improved to 50 minutes. Got a brief backup in South Everett right there at the Everett Mall. And then you're packed from Northgate all the way down to I-90. Those lake bridges continue to look good. In fact, it's less than 20 minutes from Bellevue. Seattle to Federal Way is at 35 minutes. Tacoma to Olympia has improved to 45 minutes. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
KIRO News Radio, continuing coverage.
Good evening, I'm Aaron Granillo. 2 shooting suspects are refusing to leave an Everett motel where police say they have them surrounded. KIRO 7 TV's Jason Slaw says this is all unfolding at the Far West Motel on Evergreen Way north of Madison Street.
A SWAT team is on scene. The area is blocked off and police are urging people to stay away. It's still unclear what led up to this shooting, if anyone was hurt, and we do not have any suspect information.
More details as they become available. A second suspect is in jail in connection with a deadly shooting at a house party in Des Moines. Pierce County deputies and a SWAT team arrested that 18-year-old last night. 2 teens were killed in the shooting last month, 4 others injured. A 17-year-old is already charged with double murder in that shooting. A middle school wrestling coach in Auburn is accused of convincing a student to send him explicit photos and videos of that girl. Daniel Lee is 64. His alleged victim is just 14. An Auburn police spokesman, Colby Crossley, says investigators fear there could be more victims.
Obviously, this is a very traumatizing experience, and it could be very hard to come forward. But if you have any incident involving this person, please come forward and tell us so that we can help you.
Lee coached at Olympic Middle School, where he is no longer employed. He now faces 4 felony counts. The state Senate punts on several new taxes a day after the governor said they're too risky. KIRO News Radio's Matt Markovich says of those 5 proposals, the senators have moved 2 up the food chain.
A key Senate committee greenlighted a new sales tax on a wide range of technology services and increased the capital gains tax on the sale of stocks and bonds from 7 to 9.9%. Combined, those 2 taxes would generate $5 billion over 4 years, but it's still far short of the $16 billion budget shortfall. The committee did not take action on a local property tax and levy lift for schools, expanding a business tax on retailer and wholesalers, and taxing EV manufacturers. Combined, that's a big no on $6 billion in taxes. The Democrats wanted to balance the budget. Matt Markovich, KIRO News Radio.
And your forecast now brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Beautiful night out there. We will see some clouds, though, develop overnight and scattered showers for tomorrow morning. More scattered rain on Sunday, mainly light showers. on Easter Sunday. Right now looking at 73 degrees and sunny in downtown Seattle. I'm Aaron Granillo, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with a KIRO Newsradio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO Newsradio, Northwest News.
For those of you sitting in the front, that's good. God's got old eyes so he can see you. You in the back.
Oh, yeah.
You.
Follow
all
Dreary.
of you in the back. Hey, sharpshooters in the back. There's plenty of room up front. Come on up. Come on up. God's got old eyes. If you want this to count, you better come on up.
That's Easter Sunday with Father Dreary at our Mother Good Counsel Church.
I like that one.
No one was fat. I don't remember the priest's name, but in Ocean City, New Jersey, in the summer, we would go to church. The normal mass service is like 45 to an hour, right? Those priests knew, look, we got them in the church. It's sunny. It's Ocean City, New Jersey. People want to get out on the beach. Those guys could knock that thing out like 10 minutes.
Nice.
And they were flying through it. Still counted.
Thinking about your parishioners.
Yeah. People that are in flip-flops. Yeah. I said to my dad, can we wear flip-flops? Yeah, Jesus wore sandals. Go ahead in. Dive it in.
Good Friday.
Woo. I felt the calling today, so I went up to St. Joe's over there on Capitol Hill. I walked in, and the kids were all rehearsing a Good Friday play. It was great.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, the little kid playing Jesus, and they had the disciples there. It was great. Whoever the music director, he was amazing. And then he took questions from the kindergartners. I assume it's going to be going on tonight. It'd be one of these things where all the parents show up for it. They're all there. They had a choir, and they had, I didn't stay for Pontius Pilate, but it was getting good. I know it ends, but I wanted to see it there.
Did Nick go with you?
No, I just was sitting at home, and I thought, I'm going to go, it's Mass. It's Good Friday. I should probably go. So I tried to find a Catholic church nearby. There was no service going on, so I said a little prayer, and I sat there and watched the kids do the thing.
So on the day that you were moving from one apartment to another with no help, only your wife to move everything, you decided you would leave her to carry on while you went to go watch play being rehearsed.
No. Yes, the first part's true. Moving from one apartment to the other.
Right.
Got it.
She's doing currently.
Yes, she is. And I think she sent you some pictures and she's angry.
She's not happy.
No. Well, I'm working. Okay. But I did a lot of it. I took the bed apart. I did a bunch of other things. I put stuff in bags. And I did some organizing. And then all of a sudden I said, hey, it's Good Friday. I should go to church. So I hopped in the car. I get credit for that. What's wrong with that? It wasn't like, I'll do a little of that and then I'll just go, hang out somewhere.
Well, it wasn't even a service.
I didn't know that. I thought it was going to be I thought there'd be a mass. If not, I would just go and I'd do the Stations of the Cross, and then I would say a prayer to forgive my soul for not helping Nick move. She doesn't have to keep moving. We have a couple of days. She loves this organizing stuff.
Oh, yeah. She's having a ball.
Why is she sending you photos?
Well, because I asked you on the air, I said, well, why don't you just have Nick wait until you're available to help?
Yes.
And you said, no, she loves it. She loves it. And so she was refuting that claim that
she loves organizing that stuff. He throws out all my stuff all the time.
Yeah.
I used to have a lot of fun socks. I was into fun socks in 2016 or something. I come home, where are all my fun socks? Oh, I transferred them. I was like, what do you mean you transferred them? I transferred them with your fun underwear. I used to have like fun underwear.
Like pizza slices on them?
Yeah, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Nothing so sexy like Superman underwear that grown men wear. It doesn't work so well for the old female libido. Renters and housing advocates are rallying at the state capitol in Olympia. Oh, they did this today, showcasing their outrage over the rent stabilization bill. Are these people pro free market, or are these the people that want rent control?
They are pro-free market.
Oh.
It's expected to be a big rally as both renters and housing advocates urge lawmakers to fix a bill that they say would put a cap on rent increases. But they say that bill currently is in limbo right now after some big changes were made in the Senate. So House Bill 1217 would cap rent increases at 7% a year for most renters and just 5% for manufactured homes. The Senate had set that annual cap on rent increases at 10%. So they want to get that reverted back to 7%. Advocates say that would leave nearly 40%
yeah,
of renters.
I was going to say, listen, the people that would be pro-free market are probably working.
Yeah. Well,
okay. So, Joe, come on.
Protected. We've heard from
Thanks. Thank you for the setup.
several renters demanding the House reject those changes and restore the original bill. Also, we heard from some people who oppose it.
Oh, there was somebody there that opposed it? Hang on.
I told you.
We need rent stabilization now. Seniors and other renters across the state are hurting.
Quite simply put, price controls, Economics 101 tells us that price controls simply don't work.
Supporters say rent stabilization has wide backing from Washington.
By the way, Como, I appreciate your work. Good for you, the report. Stop calling it rent stabilization. That's what they want you to call it. It's rent control. The reason they don't want you to call it rent control is because people know how bad rent control is. Look it up. There's only one thing that destroys a city faster than an atomic bomb. That's rent control. It's not rent stabilization. You're not stabilizing rent. You're controlling rent. And people know that if you try to control prices, just like that guy said, it fails. So here they are. It's rent stabilization. No, it's rent control.
Voters, recent statewide polls from YouGov show up to 81% of support capping rent hikes. And that's across party lines. So that rally kicks off at noon today. We're going to be watching to see whether the House leaders move to restore the original protections. It seems that that is what most renters are advocating for today. We'll be sure to keep you updated once that rally takes off at noon. Live here in Seattle, Tyra Majors, Como News.
Where does it work? Point to one city where rent control works. If you're gonna cap the amount of money that somebody can make, then people will not invest. It's so simple. We've talked about this a million times. People are sick and tired of hearing it, but it doesn't work. Because you just look at go to Portland, go to Oregon. They put this thing in place. Building permits have dropped 68% in the last 2 years. Why? Because the people that build buildings don't want to know, oh, by the way, you can't make any more than this amount of money. So they're like, okay, then I'll build more buildings somewhere else. The reason your rent goes down is because there's a building across the street that wants to compete against you. And whenever a new building comes in, you'll get people that are in the building like I'm in, that Equinox thing. People there will go, oh, look at this. Across the street, this other building's got more features. We like it's got this, got bigger rooms, got nicer kitchens. So then people leave the one building and move to the other building, which then causes there's migration, there's flow in the marketplace. But when you're not building new buildings, well, then everybody's stuck and new buildings create more supply. Look at a place like Houston. One of the reasons building is so cheap and there's so much housing and the rents are lower is because the building permits that they have there in Houston are fairly flexible and builders build. And when builders build, then consumers have options. There's 85% of parts of Seattle you can't do any building in. You can't put duplexes in. You can't do this because you got all these people with their, love is love signs out front and their Kamala Harris signs that are fading in the sun out front. And they're all for affordable housing. But when you say, we're going to knock down the little bungalow next to you with your yard signs there telling you how horrible Trump is. Oh, no, you can't do that. You can't put a duplex in. We don't want that. Do that somewhere else. So all the permitting freezes everything. So you can't build. If you can't build, then you can't create more supply. Then you can't drive down price. But these people, they'll see. It's not going to save anybody. Temporarily, but you're going to get locked in. It locks people in. They can't leave. They can't find another place to move to. Because builders won't build.
They did adjust it, I think, in this.
It's now 10%. Yeah, now 10% plus inflation.
Plus inflation, and it doesn't apply to non-corporately owned
mom and pops.
Yeah, exactly.
Mom and pops can raise it.
Exactly.
By the way, I had said this a couple days ago, and somebody said I don't think that's true. I looked up state of Washington. What is the average rent increase a year? I saw 3%. Somebody said, "Where'd you get that?" The internet. The internet. 85% of the stuff you see on the internet is true. That's a quote from Abraham Lincoln. So that gives you some idea. That's what I saw. That's across the entire state of Washington. The average rent increase is 3%. The notorious Seattle tagger, who, by the way, tags his own name on stuff. And by the way, he's also tagged his own skin. So they pretty much know who this guy is. Edgar?
Well, Eager is that's the name that he tags, but that's not his real name.
No, but doesn't he have tattoos of the same thing?
Yeah, he does have his. Yeah,
okay, he's very proud of the work that he does by defacing people's private property. Well, one of the Seattle notorious taggers claims he has turned his life around.
Casey Kane goes by the graffiti tag Eager, a mark that's been spray painted all over Seattle for years. But now, Casey is hoping to paint a different picture of himself and his fellow graffiti artists.
Having us clean up the city just a little bit so they can, feel good about it.
It gets pretty nasty, pretty quick. And
Casey and his friend Jay Volkman say they are reformed taggers who now want to help remove unwanted tags with their company, The Buff Man.
when something gets erased on the wall, the Buff Man got to it,
Seattle has spent millions cleaning up graffiti, with Mayor Bruce Harrell saying the tags, quote, drive him nuts.
Even after spending all this time doing graffiti, I understand that aspect.
Yeah, skeptical.
I think this.
How did he turn his life around?
Well, they started a graffiti buffing company, which covers graffiti.
So they get paid for everything that they clean up?
That's unclear if they're actually getting paid. I think they're trying to get a contract with the city, but I also think that this is part of their fulfilling community service.
Right. I know he had he had to clean up a bunch of stuff, do a certain number of community hours and things like that. Right.
So this counts towards that.
Okay. But he started a business.
Sounds like it.
County prosecutors have charged dozens of people with felonies for graffiti in the last year, and the state can't keep up with all the tags on the freeway.
With all that money being spent, there sure is a lot of tagging still, and really no attempt had been made to make some kind of relationship.
Jay says he wants to work with the city on an outlet for their talent, something like designated buildings or walls for graffiti.
Well, personally, I know that we could probably do a better job just because we know how it works.
Stay away from tagging on businesses, because they'll probably want to pay you and have you do something nice.
Casey is recovering after a serious accident and still facing charges from his prior cases. But he says his days...
What was his accident? Didn't he fall off something?
I think he might have.
He was climbing up and he fell off something?
Right.
Yeah, okay.
Tagging are over, and he wants to leave a better mark on Seattle.
It's a beautiful city when it's clean. I hate seeing stuff like this.
Right? Really?
Now, let's not overlook the legal aspects of this. Prosecutors here in King County have really taken a stand on this, and they have filed a lot of felony cases in the last 2 years for graffiti tagging. That can come with penalties, including restitution, fines, even community service, all the way up to time in custody. So something they take seriously. We'll see if this new plan might work. Reporting live in Seattle, Jeremy Harris, Como News.
I heard G and Ursula talking about this. Both of them were skeptical as well. That they think, oh, okay, so this guy starts a business and then I assume the business is you pay us for the stuff that we, get off the wall.
Yeah, and they're basically making a blank canvas for themselves later on.
Listen, on this Good Friday, we are supposed to believe in redemption,
there you go.
right?
Yes.
Jesus hanging there on the cross. One of the two thieves beside him, one to the right, one to the left. And one of them says to Jesus, all right, so you are the king of the Jews, or you're the Messiah, you're the Son of God, then, get down off this cross and save us. And then the other thief, to the left of Jesus, says, he scolds the other thief, says, he's done nothing wrong, both of us deserve this. And then he says to Jesus, remember me when you get to your kingdom. And he says, I will. Something to the effect. So don't worry, you're okay. But the other guy on the other side, just prove to us that you're this, Messiah and stuff. But you have to believe in redemption. You got to believe at the last minute. And you got to forgive. This is all part of the whole deal. Even again on this first Friday, Good Friday, here's Jesus on the cross, and Father, forgive them, for they know not what they've done. So forgiving the people that have put him on the cross and nailed him to the cross and have him there, being mocked by the Roman guards who were there watching him as well, taking a small piece of sponge and dipping it in vinegar and putting it up to his lips because he said that he was thirsty at the time.
So, and then, this is the day. This is, for us, when we were kids, it was very solemn. I mean, the altar is stripped of everything. There's purple that hangs, but there's no candles were lit. We would go on Good Friday. We would do the Stations of the Cross. It was like a real solemn sort of quiet remembrance of what happened as Catholics, in a way, observing, not celebrating, but observing this day. And then we always used to say this, the nuns and the priests were always like, this is more important than Christmas. Christmas has been commercialized. You don't understand. Easter really is the best of the holidays. It's the best of the holy days. So you had Good Thursday. We didn't get much done on that one. But then Good Friday we had off. You had Holy Thursday, Good Friday, Saturday was the quiet day, and then Sunday was, of course, we'd all go to Mass for Easter Sunday services, and we'd come home, and the Easter Bunny had come, and he had hid the baskets with the candies somewhere in the house. The only way to find it was to find Mandy, our dachshund, who was able to find the Easter baskets before we did, so we would find that she ate most of my brothers or my sisters. Whatever one she got, I assume that wasn't mine.
Chocolate, not good for dogs, by the way.
No. And then follow Mandy's giant piles of loose stools everywhere around the house. Abby.
There you go.
All right, let's go over there to Nate over there in the Big Plumbing Traffic as Nathan.
All righty, this report brought to you by the Harnish Auto family. Out in Monroe, westbound 2 at the intersection of State Route 203. That's where your westbound lanes are blocked due to a collision further down the road. In Stanwood, a collision has both directions of State Route 532 blocked at 28th Avenue Southwest. This is just west of I-5. Everett to Marysville still taking about a half hour, 15-minute delay with heavy volumes from Lowell Road up to 529. Seattle to Everett and Bellevue to Everett are improving. Both of these routes are now down to about 45 minutes. North 5 is heavy through Shoreline and Mount Lake Terrace. North 405 scattered backups between Kirkland and Alderwood. Everett to Seattle has gone back up to 1 hour, though. You got a brief backup in South Everett starting at the Boeing Freeway, and then it's bumper to bumper from Northgate Way all the way down to I-90. Bellevue to Renton's going to take you 25 minutes. Everywhere else is slowly starting to thin out now. Over 40 years, the Harnish Auto family has built a stellar reputation on trust, respect, and great deals. Find your next car at HarnishAutoFamily.com. Harnish Auto Family, people matter. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
KIRO News Radio doesn't just report the news. We help you make sense of it.
People in this area, they have us. We can keep this guy honest. That's our job.
New media is leaving the old guard behind. Yes.
We provide the analysis and context you need to stay ahead in these fast-paced times.
That man is still on the loose, and Everett police are searching for him.
Seattle Public Schools look to boost graduation rates by 10% over the next 5 years.
Stay tuned with KIRO News Radio, where you'll find out why.
Welcome to Staples.
Hi, I hear Staples prints it all.
Oh, you bet. Posters, banners.
Can you print it all for Mother's Day?
Oh, of course. Photo gifts like canvas prints, photo puzzles.
Can you print it all for graduation?
Sure can. Custom cards and invites.
Can you print a huge banner with the grad's picture?
Oh, definitely.
Even an embarrassing baby picture?
Oh, those are the best kind.
I know, right?
Print it all for moms and grads at Staples. And right now, get 40% off custom cards, invites, and photo gifts. N75 exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for details.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-838-6161. That's 800-838-6161. 800-838-6161.
How can you free your team from time-consuming office tasks? Amazon Business. Smart business buying tools enable buyers to find and purchase items fast so they can focus on strategy and growth. Free up your team and focus on your future. Learn more at AmazonBusiness.com.
William is one of millions of Americans who uses GoodRx to save on the cost of their prescriptions.
My oldest daughter, Camilla, 2 days old, she had to have open heart surgery. All of a sudden, she's on 5 different medications. It adds up at the end of the month. Me and the pharmacist got so tight. She said, GoodRx save you a lot of money. Saving that extra $200-300 a month. We're able to do all these extra activities, so it puts less stress on our household, and it puts less stress on our pockets.
Download the free app or visit GoodRx.com and start saving today. GoodRx user compensated for their time. GoodRx is not insurance, but can be used instead of insurance.
Service. Whether you're shaping up a small yard or tackling serious acreage, Steel walk-behind zero-turn and stand-on mowers are built to get the job done. Shop online or at your local Steel dealer. Steel, let's go mow. Available at participating dealers.
Charlie Harger here. When your hot turns to cold, you better think fast. Fast water heater. Call 1-800-THINK-FAST. That's 1-800-THINK-FAST or fastwaterheater.com.
You better think fast. Fast water heater.
Announcing the Million Hour Volunteer Rally. G here, join me, Safeway and Albertsons, and donate your time and skills to support local food banks and host food drives or fundraisers. You can win free groceries for a year and a $5,000 donation to your favorite hunger relief agency. Visit albertsons.com/volunteer to learn more. Find volunteer opportunities and log your hours. A million hours will help create food secure communities. Visit albertsons.com/volunteer.
Swim your way to a healthier you with an endless pool swim spa from Olympic Hot Tub. During our spring savings event, save up to $9,000 on an endless pools package, free Bluetooth music, and more. OlympicHotTub.com. Better you, better life.
Well, I'm here with my good buddy, Dr. Dan Nelson from Eastside Pain and Regenerative Medicine. And you've heard from Dr. Dan's patients over the years how a simple stem cell procedure has successfully conquered their pain. Well, folks, now it's my turn. After years of dealing with knee pain from all the football abuse, I can say my knee pain now is almost 100% gone. How'd you do it, Dr. Dan?
Well, Brock, personally, I'm very happy that you did so well. And your story is like so many of our other patients who come in, former athletes and non-athletes as well, who have come in with chronic knee pain, and they are looking for alternatives besides knee replacement surgery. And we're happy to provide this service. It's been truly a game changer for so many folks. It's just been a pleasure to be part of this.
Consider Dr. Nelson, the only doctor with over 30 years of experience in pain medicine techniques, including stem cell therapy. I was in and out with a couple of follow-ups. It's a non-surgical solution to pain using your own stem cells. Consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Daniel Nelson, MD at 425-823-4000 or visit DanielNelsonMD.com. That's DanielNelsonMD.com.
Meanwhile, at Xfinity.
So, influencer life going well?
Oh, yeah. I'm up to 32 followers.
Oh, that's something.
Yeah, posting my tap dancing videos is easier than ever because we engineered Xfinity Internet with 99.99% network reliability.
Plus, Xfinity Mobile with Wi-Fi Power Boost gives you ultra-fast Wi-Fi at home and on the go. But wait, tap dancing? You don't tap dance.
Hey, what I lack in skill, I make up with passion.
Do more of what you love and love how fast you do it with Xfinity Internet and mobile. Through June 23rd, get 400 megabit Xfinity Internet with free equipment and unlimited internet data. Plus, get one unlimited 5G mobile line included, all for $40 a month for 1 year. And ask how you can get a free 5G phone. Visit Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Restrictions apply with paperless billing and autopay with stored bank account. Xfinity Internet required. Taxes, fees extra. After 1 year, rate increases to $70 per month. After 2 years, regular rates apply. Access fees vary and not guaranteed.
Now that spring is here, treat yourself to a teriyaki salmon meal at Ivar's Seafood Bar. Ivar's starts with a grilled wild Alaskan salmon fillet, bastes it with a teriyaki glaze, and serves it with coconut pineapple rice and sesame ginger coleslaw. A meal for $15.99. And if you're in a sandwich mood, don't forget Ivar's Fish Sandwich, named the best fish sandwich in America by Eat This, Not That. Ivar's Fish Sandwich features wild Alaska true cod, coated in classic panko and topped with lettuce, tomato, and Ivar's favorite tartar sauce on a fresh King's Hawaiian bun. Stop at Ivar's and get the country's #1 best fish sandwich for only $13.99. Available in all Ivar's seafood bars from Marysville to Tacoma and throughout Seattle, but not in Ivar's fish bars nor the Salmon House, Pier 54, or Mukilteo Landing. For more information, go to ivers.com. That's ivers.com.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good evening. I'm Aaron Granillo. Negotiations continue at this hour between the Everett police and two shooting suspects who they say have barricaded themselves inside a motel. KIRO 7 TV's Jake Chapman is on that scene along Evergreen Way near Madison Street.
What started off as a disturbance call quickly became a shooting investigation. Police tell us this is a man and a woman inside that have barricaded themselves inside a motel here off of Evergreen Way. It's not clear exactly what the relationship is between those two people.
And police are asking you to avoid that area. More international students at the University of Washington are getting their visas revoked. KIRO News Radio's Heather Bosch has more.
The federal government has canceled the visas of 13 University of Washington students and 10 recent graduates who are participating in post-grad training. In a statement, the UW says neither it nor the students received prior notice and that the university only found out by checking a federal government record system that said the visas were revoked due to a, quote, immigration status violation. It gave no details. Heather Bosch, KIRO News Radio.
That U.S. Supreme Court hearing on birthright citizenship next month isn't really about birthright. CBS legal analyst Carolyn Polisi says the Trump administration is asking justices to limit the ability of lower courts to block the president's orders.
We've heard a lot about this issue of so-called universal injunctions by district courts throughout the country that have paused some of these more controversial executive orders from taking effect.
Federal judge in Seattle blocked the order on birthrights after Washington's attorney general sued. Big rally for renters today on the steps of the state capitol. Housing advocates were there fighting for a rent stabilization bill.
I had to move 5 times in the last 4 years due to rental increases, and if this would have passed in 2023, I wouldn't be standing in front of you.
Now, that measure now in limbo after lawmakers made amendments raising the cap on rent increases from 7% to 10%. Critics say this bill could push developers away and also hurt mom and pop landlords. Let's go now to the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Desk coming up on 5:33. Here's Nate Connors.
Thanks, Aaron. Kia of Everett has our update. Out of Monroe, we've got a collision westbound 2 right at the intersection of State Route 203. It's actually just beyond the intersection, and it's blocking the westbound lanes of 2. Everett to Marysville, still taking right around a half hour. That's double the norm for this time of day. Still got heavy volumes from about 41st now into Marysville. Seattle to Everett has spiked to an hour commute again with a new crash mid-span on the Ship Canal Bridge in your right lane. After this, though, you're in the clear until you reach Shoreline, where it's bumper to bumper into Linwood. Bellevue to Everett, 45 minutes. Scattered backups from Kirkland into Alderwood. Everett to Seattle's at 55 minutes. Again, a brief backup there in South Everett at the Boeing Freeway, and then it's just bumper to bumper from Northgate Way to I-90. Everett to Bellevue, 35 minutes. Once you hit Bellevue, South 405 jams up at Southeast 8 down to the VMAC. It's just 25 minutes, Bellevue to Renton. And in Renton, northbound 167 at 180th, we've got a new crash blocking the left lane. Kia of Everett makes the process of buying a new Kia as exciting as driving it home. The best drive you'll ever take is the Kia of Everett. Simple, easy, fun. KIRO News Radio Real-Time Traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
Hard to beat this kind of weather. All sunshine. We're showing 76 down in Olympia, up around 70 in Everett, 72 in downtown Seattle. Your forecast is brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Come tomorrow, we'll see some scattered showers. Same for Sunday, with temperatures in the upper 50s and low 60s this weekend. I'm Aaron Granillo, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
Here we go. Don't forget the know-it-all quiz coming up. First, Wilcox Filling Farm Eggs recipe wheel. Teeny, spin the wheel, please, for us. The Wilcox Filling Farm Eggs recipe. The wheel spins around. There it stops. Nobody knows. I get a pretty good idea who it's going to stop on. Oh, it stopped on Joe. What do you know, Joe?
Well, I just enjoyed 2 delicious Wilcox Family Farm hard-boiled eggs from our kitchen downstairs.
Me too. Well, I was watching the Mariners lose over there. By the way, sorry for that, Aaron. That's okay. All right, no, we don't have time for that. All right. Let's meet our contestant. The accelerated version of the end of the show. Here we go. Oh, I start over again. I didn't give it. Pick it up again.
Offbeat. Jeez.
Get down on the phone. Her name is Erica. She lives in Kirkland. And the one interesting thing about her is she is self-described. Original handy-trandy. And everyone's favorite contractor. She also, it says she's half a girl, but still twice the man of most of these boys. Wow. Oh, ouch. Also, I had a chance that, Erica, you and I have spoken before.
Yes, we have.
And you, by the way, you texted in the other day, you scolded me for scolding Ursula.
Yeah, don't you be beating up on Ursula. She's the... Oh, I can't say that, but she's great.
Look at you catching yourself. Good for you.
Yeah.
How do you have time to listen to this show? Aren't you supposed to be making money and helping people, being a great contractor?
Well, yeah, but I put it on in the background.
Oh, the
I have a
background.
little app on my phone.
Yep.
And so I drag my phone around with me all day long, plugging it in and out.
Okay, good. You got to keep the service up. I don't think that we probably spoke 2 years ago. I forgot what it was something about trans stuff was being in the news. And you were like, look, I did this a long time ago. I don't do politics. I don't care about any of that sort of stuff. That's like, I guess you put probably, remember Renee Richards? Remember that story?
Oh, God, I think so.
Okay.
There's been so many.
Okay, but Renee Richards, when that hit the news, Renee Richards, then transitioned to female and then played sports. I think it was like 1977, somewhere in there, right? Remember that whole thing?
Oh, that's right.
Remember that? Yeah. And it was sort of this thing. It was for the people that were covering, it was kind of an oddity thing, but there was no like politics associated with it. And I was asking you when we had our conversation probably about 2 years ago, Erica, I said, this community thing and all this other stuff. You said, I don't march, I don't protest, I just live my life.
Exactly. I'm just happy to be around still. I mean, I'm getting ready to go take my grandson fishing for the first time over at Blue Lake. Hopefully, we can make it there on Saturday. Yeah, and that's what I was just calling to tell you that I go over to Eastern Washington, and after Jenner came out and about this nonsense 4 or 5 years ago, things just went wacky, and I get more hostility than I ever did before it became a fad, I guess. I mean, I just got my degree from UW. I just graduated last June from my BS in psychology, and yes, I'm still building decks and fences.
Right, doing work, right. So
yeah, exactly. Because I can't stand to sit anymore. It just drove me nuts. But,
so Erica, where's the end? Erica, so where's the end? So you were living your life, not bothering anybody, no one bothering you. Then what happened? Something got injected into the conversation to then create the animosity that's now being taken out on you.
Well, it's plain and simple. Like I told a lot of my friends down in Portland in the community, I told them, you guys, because they kept pushing. Push. Oh, we want this. We want that. We want this. Oh, we've got to demand that you have a drag queen show every 10 minutes at the library. Some, idiotic thing like that. And then, they stopped marching they don't let the police march in the parade up on Capitol Hill anymore. It just became nonsense. It became a fad.
Yeah.
And it's not a fad. I mean, it's a pretty serious deal. I deal with it with humor.
Yeah.
It's because my makeup runs when I cry, so I'd rather laugh. But
So when did you know that you had gender dysphoria? It's normally for young boys that exhibit this by the age of about 4. It's pretty good idea that this happened. That earliest memory, right? The earliest memory,
yes, 5.
Right? 5 years old, right?
Yeah, and so you learn to just get along, right? Like, okay, this ain't right, but I'll practice, and I practiced it so good, it's kind of hard to get rid of at this point because I didn't come out until my, 50s, or no, 40s, like mid 40s.
Yeah.
But you just live, I just lived my life the best I could. When I came out, of course, people like my sister wasn't surprised. Oh, that makes sense, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Because they could see me struggling. I didn't have a lot of friends, that kind of boohoo thing. But, I made it through junior high eventually in high school, and then, decided to dig in and find the most manly thing I could possibly do. And that's how I became an iron worker for most of my life.
Wow, Erica, so when you were an iron worker, were you still male?
Yeah, I was. When I came out, I was a rod buster. I did rebar, had my own company for many years. So I was a contractor. I employed, 10 to 20 guys, depending upon how much work we had.
Yeah.
And when I came out, it was tough on those guys. I didn't push it. I had enough to deal with on my own, with my marriage, my kids, and everything else. And the last thing I wanted to do was, hang around and make some big stand about it. People started asking at work, what kind of rumor gets going, and I just stepped away. I'm like, cool. This is, I don't want to screw around with you guys and make things uncomfortable. I still love the work. I always miss it.
Mm-hmm. I know this is such a stupid question, but because happiness is actually a temporary feeling that one experiences after they achieve something, joy and happiness, right? It's something you earn. It's not a state you're constantly in. But how's life? Life going pretty well for you?
Very much so, John. I am. I wake up thankful every morning. I'm closer to God than I ever have been in my life. And it wasn't an easy road. 5 years ago, I was sitting down at the Oregon State Hospital, of all places, for a year. But I got out, went to school, managed to get a degree from the UW, and now I'm just waiting to go fishing with my grandson after I finish up this fence. Life, I'm so grateful. I get nothing but grateful. We're given just a little bit of time on this earth. And Jesus, to waste it, being miserable or regretful, I can't see it anymore. But, I'm old. We get old and reflecting like you.
How old are we?
Are we? We are 60.
Oh, you're in the same club with me. All right. Well, good. Well, listen, the quiz is silly. The wisdom, your life, your story, your optimism, your perspective on life, I think has probably more value than the stupid questions I wrote. To me, I've always said that it's a choice how someone is going to say something to you. You still have a choice. It's your choice how you react to how that person is responding to you. Right? If you give over and engage in anger and resentment and envy and all this other stuff, well, then that's your choice to do that because you didn't have to make that choice, right? The person said something to hurt your feelings. It's your response to what that person did. You have total control over that.
Absolutely. That was the turning point for me at the hospital. I mean, it was very sudden. It's not, every day, but it was resentments. I finally realized this resentment shit, it's a zero sum.
Hey, that kind of language might fly around the ironworkers, my friend.
I'm sorry. Oh, good God.
What do you think you're on, G and Ursula's show with the S-bombs? Come on now.
No. I'm so sorry.
No, that's right.
Sorry.
That's right. No, that's right. All right. Hey, Teeny, will Erica get all the cookies even though just dropped an S-bomb on the show? All the cookies. There we go. Fine. Congratulations, Erica. A whole box of Bite Me cookies coming your way. Have a fabulous time with your grandson fishing over in Easter. It's going to be good weather, hopefully, for you. You catch a lot and spend some time sharing stories and passing on some of that wisdom that's hard-earned by you. Erica, I love the fact you listen to the show, and I will continue to make sure I hold Ursula in the highest regard, okay?
All right, John. Thanks so much, buddy.
Goodbye, my friend. Goodbye. All right, let's go over to Nate in the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Desk. Nathan.
Beacon Plumbing has our update. Everett to Marysville, still right around a half hour, about a 20-minute delay now with heavy volumes from Highway 2 to 529. That backup isn't very long per se, but it is thick. Seattle to Everett, 55 minutes. We cleared that crash on the Ship Canal Bridge, and now it's just scattered crowding between Shoreline and through North Linwood. Bellevue to Everett, 40 minutes. Scattered backups between Kirkland and Alderwood, and those are very few and far between. Everett to Seattle's down to 50. Got a brief backup still in South Everett at the Boeing Freeway, and then it's bumper to bumper from Northgate down to I-90. In Renton, northbound 167 at 180, it's still got a crash taking up that left lane. And in Auburn, westbound 18 near Auburn Black Diamond Road, a collision is blocking there. We don't have a camera there, and I don't have an official report, but the map comes to a screeching halt right there. You're in about a 3 to 4 mile backup right now. For all of your heating, electrical, septic, and mechanical needs, stop freaking, call Beacon. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
Welcome to this week's Puget Sound Express Whale Report. According to naturalists at Puget Sound Express, it's whale soup out in the Salish Sea. Migrating gray whales are gathering in significant groupings near Whidbey Island as they feed on ghost shrimp. An array of Bigg's killer whale families are also in the area hunting seals, sea lions, and porpoises. The T100B and E families in particular have been seen throughout Puget Sound, doing their part to keep the local sea lion population in check. Plus, humpbacks and minke whales are also starting to arrive. Family-run Puget Sound Express offers daily guaranteed whale watching tours departing from Edmonds. These half-day tours are Seattle's most popular and well-reviewed whale tours. Puget Sound Express also offers tours out of beautiful Port Townsend and Port Angeles. Don't miss out on your chance to see whales in the wild. Family-run Puget Sound Express guarantees you'll see whales or your next trip is absolutely free. Book online at PugetSoundExpress.com.
Workdays can be unpredictable, but your workwear shouldn't be.
With the Cintas Apparel Plus program, you'll have freshly laundered garments for everyone on your team delivered every week. Cintas has workwear for just about any job imaginable, with high-performance fabrics and an uncompromising fit that stretches and moves with you. Don't leave looking and feeling good to chance. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Thanks for calling Discover. This is Nia.
Hi, Nia. It's Jennifer. Did you know that Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Yeah, I work here.
Okay. I was just double checking. Get it?
Because Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Oh, you get me, Nia.
You could say that I double get you.
I guess we've taken it too far.
You earn, we match. Discover Cashback Match. See terms at discover.com/credit card.
There's a sink at the brink and a drain that's a pain.
Dayandnight.net.
You got a pipe with a leak, water's reaching its peak.
Dayandnight.net.
Your old water heater, she's starting to peter.
Dayandnight.net.
The throne's not too well, and ooh, does it smell?
Dayandnight.net.
Have a clogged drain, water heater issue, or plumbing repair, and wish you could get a second opinion? Maybe it's sticker shock, or you'd like to know your options. Hi, I'm Bruce, General Manager of Day and Night Plumbing and Heating. Don't feel trapped. Do the smart thing and get a second opinion. Day and Night will provide you with a fair and honest quote, explain all your options, and help you with the right solution. Give us a call or visit dayandnight.net. I guarantee you, whether Day and Night is your first choice or smart second opinion, we'll work harder than anyone to earn your trust.
Dayandnight.net.
Here in the Pacific Northwest, windows can be one of the best investments you can make to add value to your home. At Dunn Lumber, we have designated Marvin window specialists who have been trained by Marvin to best serve your needs. If you need help finding the right windows for your home, come by one of our 4 Dunn Lumber window showrooms. Or reach out to me personally, Mike Dunn at DunnLumber.com.
Dunn Lumber, building success together.
Workdays can be unpredictable, but your workwear shouldn't be. With the Cintas Apparel Plus program, you'll have freshly laundered garments for everyone on your team delivered every week. Cintas has workwear for just about any job imaginable, with high-performance fabrics and an uncompromising fit that stretches and moves with you. Don't leave looking and feeling good to chance. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Switch to Consumer Cellular to get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Plans start at just $20 a month, and now for a limited time, new customers can get their second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit a store near you, or consumercellular.com and start saving today. Plans include $5 credit for autopay and e-billing. Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Guys, thinking about testosterone replacement therapy? Revive Men's Health can help you get started if you're ready to book your free T-check. Visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com. That's Revive, R-E-V-I-B-E, menshealth.com.
The John Curley Show mailbag is brought to you by Pendergast Law.
All right, Joe, yes or no, fast or slow on the mailman song? What are you going to do?
Better make it fast.
Fast then, got a lot of letters. Mailman, speed it up if you would. Wow, just like that? Jeez, all right.
It's fair to our listeners.
We'll get to letter of the day first. Here's all the rest. Here we go.
Marguerite and Lacey says, hey, John, I hate to break it to you, but Tad was on All My Children.
Yeah, that was Nate.
That was Nate.
It was All My Children.
Yes.
Tad, not General Hospital.
Wasn't he on both?
No. Okay, stop.
Come on.
Doug in Mount Vernon. Joe learned from Casey Kasem on how to properly produce a show. That's right.
Goose in the 206 says, we recently got a little backstory on Aaron Granillo.
Mm-hmm.
We know a lot about John and Joe. When can we get a little lore about Nate? I'll be down there, Connors. The only thing I've heard is that he likes to catch his car on fire.
We like to, Nate is best experienced in small doses.
Microdose, I call it.
There you go. That's what you're going to get from Nate right there, Goose. Adam in Mount Lake Terrace on Seattle's aversion to jaywalking. Some people just really like rules deep down. All right.
Biscuit from Everett says, I'm impressed. I have missed very few Curly shows since 2014, and I have never heard the confessional story.
I even gave you the truncated version of it. There was far more complicated than that.
The other confessional story about his dad rigging the CYO clock, I heard that one about a dozen times.
You have not heard, no, Biscuit. Heard it, move on. You have not heard that a dozen times. That's a good one.
I haven't heard it.
But by the way, we can't keep using you as I haven't heard it, because then people like Biscuit are like, how about a new story?
Well, that means you haven't told it in 2 years. I think that's...
Victoria on Tiger Mountain. I absolutely love Joe's laugh. His timing is perfect with John's wild tales.
Hey, thanks. Ben from Long Branch. Me and my best friend had our first confession growing up the same morning. We were so nervous. He had to go in before me, and when he came back out from the confessional, I asked him what he said. He told the priest he drank a beer, kicked his younger sister, and farted on the family dog.
Wow.
Sheesh.
And he did the same ones?
I don't know.
Doubled up on it? Katie in Tacoma says, so the Pentagon was built in 18 months, but I-5 was going through reconstruction in Tacoma for 18 years. Well, that makes sense.
206 says, dang, John, when was the last time you went to Vietnam? Right before COVID, there were a lot of cars in the cities.
Really? There's cars there now?
Apparently.
Oh, I was there when they opened up after tourism, I guess 98 or something. I was in the S.
Oh,
I used to say that to Tom all the time. I was in the S. You were there for Evening Magazine. Andrew, the 509, says on the reformed graffiti artist, wow, Edgar, whatever his name is, figured out the democratic matrix. Create the problem, then claim he can be fix it and get taxpayer money just to do it. The Coors Light is for you, old chap.
That's right. On Father Brian, 425 says, thank you, John, for bringing Father Brian on. What a great segment on Good Friday. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yeah, good to see him. Fernando in Seattle says, thank you for reminding me about the importance and beauty of this day.
206, hey, John, thanks for having Father Brian on. He was fascinating to listen to and kind of inspirational on this upcoming Easter weekend. Thank you so much.
John Curley, that was the most amazing segment on KIRO I've heard in a very long time. And capping it off with John Michael Talbot with Be Not Afraid.
That's right.
Yeah.
And now it is time for the letter of the day.
Okay. Thank you, Teeny.
I'm going to pull an audible. This one is from Sean in Eatonville about the know-it-all quiz. He says, right on, brother. I don't remember Christ saying that it was a sin to be the person who you are. Woman or man, we are all the same. Love, love, happy Easter.
There we go. Wow, look at you pulling audible. Good one. All right. We still have another hour.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
That's all she wrote. That's all she wrote.
Have to stay for that?
No more.
No, I'm going to try to repeat everything I said, word for word. Can I do it, Andrew?
Absolutely.
All right.
Yes.
First, here's Nate in a small microdose of Beacon Plumbing traffic does. Nathan?
Thank you, Johnny. Beacon Plumbing has our update. Renton, northbound 167 at 180th. Our crash is now blocking all northbound lanes. Traffic is scooting by there on the right shoulder. You're backed up bumper to bumper to South 212th. In Auburn, westbound 18 at Auburn Black Diamond Road, a collision's got you sitting in about a 4-mile backup now. Everett to Marysville, still taking a half hour. Heavy volumes from Highway 2 into Marysville. Seattle to Everett, about 55 minutes. Scattered crowding between Shoreline and North Linwood. Bellevue to Everett, it's just 40 minutes. Not much in your way here. What you do run into is going to be very short backups. Everett to Seattle, 50 minutes. A brief backup there at the Boeing Freeway in South Everett, and then still really thick from Northgate Way all the way down to I-90. For all of your heating, electrical, septic, and mechanical needs, stop freaking. Call Beacon. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
Shake and Spike, noon to 3.
There's a movement in San Francisco to give speeding tickets based on income.
Various countries in Europe do the same mentality because they feel that a $50 ticket to a guy who makes $18 million a year is nothing.
Norway, 10% of the driver's annual income.
Yeah.
Speeding fine.
If you make $300,000 in Norway, which a lot more people do, $30,000 ticket.
Excessive speeding has a mandatory 18-day jail sentence.
I don't think it's fair to charge people more because they make more, but there has to be consequences.
Streaming live on the KIRO Newsradio app.
Hello, Seattle. It's your friendly neighbor, the T-Mobile Park roof. From up here, I can see it all. Folks pouring in from the street, the sun setting over the sound, the roar of the crowd as Luis Castillo pumps his fist, and the joy of the J-Rod squad as Julio snares a deep fly ball at the wall.
He reaches up with a leap and he makes the catch.
And all the faces smiling with every perfectly grilled hot dog and swirl of soft serve. When the final out's made, I'll be right up here, lighting the W and soaking it all in. Mariners baseball. Try it inside.
The Mariners have a great slate of special events and marquee matchups all season long. Bring mom to the ballpark for Mother's Day weekend, May 9th to 11th, including a clear purse giveaway Sunday the 11th, thanks to Muggleshoot Casino Resort. Then don't miss a star-studded showdown against the Yankees May 12th to 14th. Get your tickets at mariners.com.
Good morning, I'm Heather Bosch.
Your best source for local news.
A minimum wage increase proposal is moving forward in unincorporated King County.
KIRO News Radio.
It's a new year, but many seniors are struggling with the same old problem: high prices and rising property taxes. We're here with our friend Steve Teitler of Best Mortgage, and he says a reverse mortgage may be the answer.
Many seniors cannot afford to stay in the home they love. A reverse mortgage gives them access to equity in their home without having to sell. They can pay off their mortgage if they have one and maybe pull some extra cash out of their home. And best of all, they have no mortgage payment the rest of their life.
But as you always say, a reverse mortgage is not for everyone.
That's right. Avoid the high-pressure sales pitch from those out-of-state call centers. I give you a consultation, not a sales pitch. I'll tell you if a reverse mortgage is right for you, and I always tell you if it's not.
Honest advice you can trust from the reverse mortgage experts. Best Mortgage. The VA loan experts and debt consolidation specialists too. 425-649-6000. Best Mortgage. 425-649-6000.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is for you too. Stubborn fat is really hard to get rid of, and then there's all those gimmicky lasers, fat freezing methods, and prescriptions. Imagine a simple solution that takes just one day and provides immediate noticeable results. Introducing ProSculpt. ProSculpt uses air-assisted technology that's safe and gentle yet powerful, delivering instant fat-reducing and skin-tightening results. Performed by board-certified plastic surgeons while fully awake, ProSculpt contours your body with minimal downtime. It's designed to target those problem areas: waistline, neck, face, arms, thighs. ProSculpt gently removes unwanted fat and tightens loose skin with FDA-cleared plasma technology, all in a simple, guaranteed one-day procedure. ProSculpt is one and done. Schedule your free consultation at prosculpt.com for $250 off. For powerful permanent fat removal and skin tightening that works for ladies and you men, it's prosculpt.com.
Enjoy your drive home with the John Curley Show.
Go talk to the customer and find out why they went for Donald Trump, and then why not satisfy that customer as opposed to just destroying the guy.
Weekday afternoons from 3 to 7 on KIRO News Radio.
Comcast Business helps turn today's small businesses into engines of modern business. It's how restaurants become reliably up and running neighborhood favorites. How retailers become seamlessly restocking, cyber-securing, must-visit shops. And how healthcare offices become the data managing caregivers that we all depend on. With reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, advanced fiber solutions, and Wi-Fi backup, Comcast Business is powering the engine of modern business. Powering possibilities.
Now through April 21st, new customers can get started with 150 megabit internet and security edge for $49.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Plus, ask how to get a $500 prepaid card on a qualifying internet package. Call today. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. Requires enrollment in paperless billing and automatic payments with bank account. Equipment, taxes, and other fees extra and subject to change. Early termination fee applies.
Cars for Kids, your trusted charity for car donations, also accepts donations of boats, RVs, motorcycles, and real estate. Call today, 877-CARS4KIDS.
Your best source for local news. KIRO News Radio. KIRO FM and HD1. Tacoma, Seattle. Northwest News.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Jennifer Kuiper. In less than 5 minutes on the Florida State University campus in Tallahassee, 2 people were killed and 6 others wounded yesterday. Grad student Madison Askin says from her hospital bed,
"The minute I got shot, I remember my parents telling me I just need to play dead. So I released all the muscles in my body. I closed my eyes. I held my breath. I did everything I could to look like I was dead because I didn't want them to shoot me again, God forbid it."
All of the wounded are expected to make a full recovery. Police say the suspect, a 20-year-old stepson of a sheriff's deputy who was shot by officers, will require a significant amount of time in the hospital. They say he's not cooperating, and there is no word on a motive. Hundreds have attended a campus vigil. Senator Chris Van Hollen, a Democrat from Maryland, is back from El Salvador after meeting with the man mistakenly deported. CBS's Stacey Lynn reports.
Kilmar Abrego Garcia was brought to Senator Van Hollen's hotel and talked about the Supermax prison he was initially locked up in.
He said he was not afraid of the other prisoners in his immediate cell, but that he was traumatized by being at CCOT.
And then, 9 days ago,
he told me he was moved to another detention center in Santa Ana, where the conditions are better.
The senator's calling on the Trump administration to abide by the court order to facilitate his return.
If you're in the market to buy a home this spring, you're going to want to pay attention. The average rate for a 30-year fixed mortgage has climbed to 6.8%. That's up about a quarter of a percentage point from the week before, and the highest rate in 2 months. And CBS's Kelly O'Grady adds,
where tariffs are going, there's just such a wild card and so much uncertainty around the U.S. economy and inflation. So right now, you're seeing mortgage rates tick up. We could see them go down if a deal happens, because then in theory, those prices wouldn't increase and you would see more stability.
State education leaders in one deep South state want public comment on a high school graduation requirement. CBS's Jim Krasula reports.
The Mississippi Board of Education is considering doing away with the written test for high school seniors to see how much they learned from a history course required for graduation. An unidentified board member told others on the education board,
I don't want a Mississippi child to be in New York and be interviewed and asked how many stars are on the flag and they don't know that. And I don't think we have that issue. Mississippi history course is strong.
If approved, the statewide U.S. History Mississippi Academic Assessment Program test would no longer be a graduation requirement beginning this fall.
NASA's Lucy spacecraft is speeding toward another close encounter with an asteroid. This is CBS News.
A riddle brought to you by Progressive Insurance. What do your home and auto have in common? Progressive protects them both. It was an easy riddle. Learn more at Progressive.com.
Coming up, 2 barricaded suspects now in Everett police custody. The updates after Nate Connors at the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Desk.
Sounds good. Aaron Kia of Everett has our update. Let's start you in Renton, northbound 167 and 180th. This crash blocking all northbound lanes has you backed up to South 212th. You can get by just scooting by there on the far right shoulder. In Auburn, westbound 18 near Auburn Black Diamond Road, we still got a collision blocking there, and it's got you close to a 4-mile backup behind it. Everett to Marysville is improving. We're down to 25 minutes. All that's left now are scattered backups between Highway 2 into Marysville. Seattle to Everett is down to a half hour. Most of that slowing now, just limited to Linwood. Bellevue to Everett, 35 minutes. Same story here. It's Linwood backup slowing you down. Everett to Seattle is down to 45 minutes. Just minor slowing through South Everett, starting at the Boeing Freeway, and then thick from Northgate down to I-90. Tacoma to Olympia has improved to 40 minutes. Kia of Everett makes the process of buying your new Kia as exciting as driving it home. The best drive you'll ever take is the Kia of Everett. Simple, easy, fun. KIRO News Radio real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good evening. I'm Aaron Granello. An hours-long standoff in Everett is now over. KIRO 7 TV's Jake Chapman was at the motel along Evergreen Way when police took a man and woman into custody.
You can see that man zip-tied. He was apparently one of the people barricaded in that motel room. We caught the moment when SWAT made their move. Take a listen. The woman was being taken to the ambulance, but she refused to get inside that ambulance, and then we did see her go in the back of a patrol car.
Now, we are still waiting to hear from police about what led up to the standoff. A now former wrestling coach at an Auburn middle school is behind bars tonight. 64-year-old Daniel Lee faces 4 felony counts of sex crimes involving a minor. Court documents say he convinced a 14-year-old girl to send him nude photos, telling police he was flattered by the attention. Auburn PD spokesman Colby Crossley.
It's extremely disturbing, and it's something that we want to take care of right away and make sure it doesn't happen again.
Lee coached at Olympic Middle School. He is no longer employed there. An 18-year-old now under arrest in connection with a deadly shooting at a house party in Des Moines last month. KIRO News Radio's James Lynch reports police took that suspect into custody last night.
After an extensive undercover operation, Pierce County deputies and a SWAT team took the 18-year-old man into custody around 10 p.m. Deputy Carly Capetto tells us how it went down.
This suspect had not been identified until we were able to gather more evidence and review surveillance cameras to gather enough information that we had a suspect that was outstanding.
2 young people were killed in that shooting. 4 others were injured. A 17-year-old suspect has already been charged with double murder. James Lynch, KIRO News Radio.
A fake recording of Jeff Bezos is no longer greeting people at some crosswalks in Seattle.
Hi, I'm Jeff Bezos. This crosswalk is sponsored by Amazon Prime.
KIRO 7 TV's Lindsay Sheldon says the city has now resolved that hack.
The message played Wednesday and at least part of Thursday at crosswalks in South Lake Union and the U District. But Seattle DOT tells us they are all fixed, and it's now looking at better security measures to prevent future hacking.
Your forecast now brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Gorgeous night tonight, followed by some clouds for this weekend, along with scattered showers, and temperatures cooling down a bit with highs in the upper 50s tomorrow and Sunday. I'm Aaron Granillo, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with a KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
Dear Casey, this may seem to be a strange dedication request, but I'm quite sincere, and it'll mean a lot if you play it.
Casey, it's all
Recently,
mad.
there was a death in our family. He was a little dog named Snuggles, but he was most certainly a part of... Let's start again. From coming out of the record. Play the record, okay?
Oh, no.
See, when you come out of those up-tempo damn numbers, man, it's impossible to make those transitions, and then you got to go into somebody dying. You know, they do this to me all the time. I don't know what the hell they do it for, but damn it, if we can't come out of a slow record, I don't understand it. Is Don on the phone?
Uh-oh, Don.
Okay, I want a damn concerted effort to come out of a record that isn't a up-tempo record every time I do a damn death dedication. This is the last damn time I want somebody use his brain to not come out of a damn record.
Get Don on the phone.
That's up tempo, and I got to talk about a dog dying. What is this? Ponderous, man.
Oh my God.
Ponderous.
Casey having a bad day. Wow. And I gotta get my Catholic priest on the phone right after that. That doesn't work. Joe, who's producing it? Get Don on the phone. Get Don on the phone. Diving into the news, Aaron. Casey Canada on the top 40 is coming out of a dead dog dedication. It is Good Friday for you Catholics, for you Creasters. What is a Creaster, Joe?
Somebody who only goes to church on Christmas and Easter.
Yeah, that's right. You know where I first learned that expression?
Nope.
The man that's going to join us on the phone right now. Father Brian, did you know that? First time I ever heard that expression, Creaster, was from you?
I did not.
Yes. Father, I first came across your wonderful teachings and your homilies and the way you brought everybody together over there at St. Joe's in Issaquah. We sent our kids there. Just absolutely loved going to Sunday Mass with you. There you are. And I wanted to have you on. I know you're at St. Stephen's the Martyr and St. Anthony's there over in Renton. I'm sure they are happy to have you. Is that right?
We hope so.
So on Good Friday, I've got a question for you. There's a great piece I saw in 2018 in the Wall Street Journal. It says, for those people that doubt the idea that there was the Jesus, think about it. A couple of ragtag people come out of the Mediterranean, far out near the Mediterranean, and then within 2.5 centuries, Christianity is practiced and celebrated almost all over the world in just 2.5 centuries. And this article goes on to sort of retrace and says something must have happened for those men they must have seen something that changed their life in such a way beyond anything anybody could possibly imagine that they then went out into the world to profess what they had seen and were willing to give up their life for it. So their belief, what they had witnessed, was enough to change the world. Is that a pretty good way of summing it up?
It is. It's considered one of the proofs of the resurrection as the witness of the early apostles. They were disciples under Jesus, and after the resurrection, they become apostles who are sent. And when they were with Jesus in his earthly ministry, they followed him and shared meals with him and teaching and healing and all these great works of Jesus. But it wouldn't make sense to any person to think, oh, we're going to preach Jesus risen from the dead to a culture that is persecuting our leader. And there was no motivation for them to do this, no financial fame, status, anything like that, right? They would be resisted by the culture. So they must have encountered the risen Christ, we believe, in such a dramatic way that in a sense, it turned them around from walking away and kind of denying the Lord and being scattered at the crucifixion to come together and to go and proclaim to all nations that Jesus indeed had risen from the dead. It is kind of mind-boggling to even think that the fact that they would do this even to the point of their own death if they hadn't actually encountered the risen Christ. And so there's no other real good justification otherwise. Any normal person would say, okay, he was a good guy, sorry it didn't work out, and we're on our way.
Yeah, I guess so. Following a line of logic would be, I guess so they understand, they can then understand, okay, so he said he would rise again. So he rises again from the dead. He defeats death. So therefore, the disciples, the apostles, would then say, okay, so then I have nothing to fear, right? So death doesn't hold me back. So if Nero or somebody else wants to throw me to the lions, or I'm going to be, crucified upside down or whatever else it is, that's okay because I know there is a life beyond this life. Was that not sort of the general, societal beliefs at that time? Did people just assume, well, you just died and that was the end of you?
Yeah, and it shifted depending on the school of Jewish tradition, how they saw the afterlife. But there was a sense for the apostles that, well, if Jesus rose from the dead, then he can save us as well, right? We can share an eternal life with him because he's conquered the one thing that limits us from relationship and life for all time, which is death itself. And so then, yes, they felt empowered to share this message of the risen Christ. There's also in the New Testament definitely a sense that Jesus would come again.
Yeah.
Quickly. Right? So he's risen from the dead. He appears to the disciples and those gathered in a number of ways that we see in the New Testament, especially in the Gospels. And then we believe he ascends into heaven. And they were looking for him to come back again to wrap up all God's plan of salvation so that everything would be one in the Lord. And so there's definitely a sense of urgency. And also, I would say to a certain degree, protection or a sense of hope or promise of faith.
I see. So as Peter heads out, and Matthew and John, as they head out into the world, I guess they think, well, we're, probably just a couple of weeks or months or a year till he comes back again. So we better hurry up and get out there and preach the word, right?
That's right.
Okay.
And so that people are ready to accept the Lord in faith. And then they also have a sense of saying, well, this is urgent news.
Yes.
Right? This isn't just kind of like, well, if we get to it, but no, like he's conquered the thing that is the separator for us all, which is death itself.
I'm speaking with Father Brian from St. Stephen's and the Martyr and St. Anthony's Catholic Church there in Renton. So, Father, there's so many stories that go into Good Friday and then, of course, Easter Sunday. On Friday, what's one of your favorite stories to preach from or to begin a homily from of all the different things happened?
Sure. Well, on Good Friday, of course, we remember kind of the passion narrative of Jesus. Many people would also know it as the Stations of the Cross. I go different ways depending on the year because it's so rich. There's so many levels to it. But it's that Jesus comes to be we believe, the new and definitive Adam. So it's a replacement of the fall and the sin of the time of creation. Jesus also becomes the new and definitive Moses, the Passover. There's also the context as well of that Jesus becomes the one who gathers all the nations to himself, and because he becomes the entire sacrificial system. The piece that I usually focus the most on Good Friday is how do we deal with suffering and death as human beings? Because my biggest challenge I had when I was in seminary was, okay, I get it, creation, the fall, the covenant, God establishes the people, Jesus comes, his passion, death, resurrection. And then now we're in this in-between time where we believe it's an already but not yet. So God's grace is already with us, but it's not yet brought to completion until Jesus comes again at some point. Which
the question you've probably asked all the time. Well, then if God loves us, why does he let us suffer?
You bet. You bet. And the two answers are, one, I don't know because I'm not God. So I have my own perspective on this. However, we do believe that God is with us in the midst of the suffering. And that's what Jesus' passion shows us, that the suffering can be redeemed, actually, and transformed into new life so that it is not transmitted to others. Yep. So one of the lines in the church is like, pain or suffering that isn't transformed is transmitted. So a lot of what people encounter in their lives are wounds and hurts and sins and all the imperfections of life. And then they start dishing that out to other people.
Oh, I see.
And we see it played out again and again. And so we believe if we unite our sufferings with Christ, our entire lives of faith, then they can actually be transformed into new life where we grow in love, where we can see the promises of the kingdom, where we're able to be free in Jesus.
Let's talk about modern times now. You've been in this business for a long time of saving souls. Have you seen, I saw a piece in the New York Times, that there are more young people are now going back to church?
I definitely see church attendance rising. This oftentimes will happen, of course, in societal dynamics. If there's world wars or after 9/11, it could be in the current context of, maybe political instability, some of the wars around the world, or even inflation, right, or cost of living. But I do believe that I see in people where they're looking for, as every generation, looking for meaning and oftentimes returning to the tradition that they grew up in some context as a framework that can provide them with some context, again, on who God is, who we are, what we're called to do, and who we're called to be in this life.
And we are, as an organism, as living creatures, at the level we experience life, I think we have a natural desire to worship, to find something beyond ourselves. Because I think you only need to spend about 15 minutes with yourself to realize, well, there's got to be more than this, right? So I think we're predestined to think some power beyond, something else needs to pull me in a direction that has purpose. So perhaps after spending how many times sort of in the social media desert or wherever else people are just kind of going for whatever it is, alcohol, drugs, whatever, then they say, well, it's still not satisfying. There's still something inside me that has a desire to be quenched. And maybe it is a religion, an organized religion.
Yeah, I mean, St. Augustine said our hearts are restless until they rest in God, because only God is perfect, so only God can perfectly bring us peace. So then other things are good in their own way, right? It doesn't mean, people play sports or watch the Seahawks or whatever. That's fine, right? But it's not going to meet your ultimate fulfillment. When I was doing missionary work in Africa, I remember I talked to somebody and I was saying, I'm from Seattle. There's a lot of atheists and agnostics that live in the area and, people with different backgrounds. And I was talking to a couple of seminarians from Rwanda and Uganda, and they looked at me and they said, what's an atheist? I was like, it's somebody who doesn't believe in God. And they said, there isn't anybody in Africa who doesn't believe in something, right? And it might be some combination of syncretism, but I think it's actually embedded into us to pursue. And this isn't even from faith or religion. This is just simply philosophy and metaphysics. We're built to pursue the transcendentals, which we define this gets into Aristotle and Aquinas, but we define them as unity, truth, and goodness. That each person is designed to strive for perfect unity, truth, and goodness, or beauty or love, you know? And so when we pursue those things, we can see that. We believe the ultimate, of course, is in God, and it's our participation in God that orients us in that way. But that every person that I encounter, whether they go to church or not, they're looking for the same things. And they're looking for unity, right? That we're all one, truth and goodness, and that everything fits where it should, and a sense of joy and happiness. And of course, you know, I'm in organized religion, I'm a priest, that we believe the structure of the religion can provide you with a framework to pursue that in the best way possible. Where on your own, you might do it a little bit, but then it's difficult to build in those disciplines and habits, perhaps, to keep you oriented towards these, we believe, kind of how we're created.
And Billy Graham said once that when we come to the end of ourselves, we come to the beginning of God.
Yeah, and knowing that I'm not the answer to everything. And it especially becomes more apparent to people when things are not going their way.
Yeah.
They don't have control over everything. And our society, I mean, rightfully so. I mean, I want people to be capable and do good things and be good at their jobs and, you know, take initiative. But it doesn't always build in the way in which we can move towards what St. Ignatius calls holy indifference, which is essentially do the best you can at what you're supposed to do, you know, grow in your vocation, be good at your job, learn, etc., use your gifts, but also don't hold on to it as the source of your identity and your meaning. That your deeper meaning, actually, your deeper meaning of the self is that you're a beloved son or daughter of God, right? You're a beloved child of God. Everything else kind of comes and goes. You currently have this radio show. I'm currently the pastor of this place. Well, all these things are going to change.
Yes.
At some point. So we arrive back at this core identity. And then from that place of holy indifference or freedom, then we can follow the Lord and then be able to respond to all the different blessings and challenges that life sends our way.
To open to it. Father, before we go on a lighter note, Joe was listening while I had my sister on the phone. And I told her I was going to have you on. And she said, well, as long as you get Father Brian on, why don't you do a quick confession for what you and your brother did to me Easter a long time ago. We were celebrating Good Friday. I think it was 10 or 11, Father. Bless me, Father, for I've sinned. And my brother and I decided that my sister would be the one to be crucified because she had longer hair. So we got 2 boards out of my Aunt Mary's garage, and we tied her to the board. And because she had longer hair.
That might have been traumatic for her. Luckily, John, there's a difference between mortal and venial sin.
Yes, I think I'm going to
venial sin, so you're okay. Yeah.
Or the venial side. Hey,
you got to get into theological distinctions. Yeah,
I'll let you get back to work of saving souls. Father Brian, thanks so much for being on. Have yourself the happiest of Easters, and continue to do the Lord's work. We appreciate your time. Thank you, Father.
God bless everybody.
Yeah, man. There it goes. All right. Their favorite song, hit my dad's favorite song there, Andrew. There and there. My dad's favorite ones. Here we go.
Shall see the face of God and live.
My dad loved the song, but he could never hit the high notes, so he'd get to the one part right about here. And then he'd start coughing.
You do that.
Right here. Go before you always. And this maybe somewhat sacrilegious, but Nick can't stand the fact that when she goes to the bathroom, she says, I don't want you to hear me. Don't listen to me. So I always sing this song.
It's beautiful.
She's like, don't listen to me.
Blessed are your poor.
All right.
What, do you guys live in a studio or something?
There's no door. There's no door over there in the bathroom area.
Oh, okay.
Sorry about that. There's Nate over there in the Beacon Plumbing traffic.
Yep, Beacon Plumbing has our update. All lanes back open northbound 167 and 180th in Renton. Our earlier collision now sits on your right shoulder. The earlier backup behind it has cleared out, so you're good to go here. Same story in Auburn. We cleared our collision westbound 18 near Auburn Black Diamond Road. No backups there either. Tacoma to Olympia and vice versa, you're down to 35 minutes. That drive between Seattle up to Everett and Bellevue up to Everett are both have both cleared out except for this minor backup north of the Linwood interchange. Everett to Seattle, 35 minutes. You're going to encounter a brief backup still through South Everett, and then crowded from Northgate down to the Convention Center. In Newcastle, South 405 and 112th got a 3-car collision in the HOV lane. Everett to Marysville is down to 20 minutes. You're still crowded, though, between the Snohomish River and 529. South 5 remains crowded through Marysville between Smoky Point and the Union Slough. Arlington to Everett has a 20-minute delay. And up in Mount Vernon, South 5 at Kincaid Street, a crash blocks your left lane. You're sitting in a bumper-to-bumper backup to State Route 20 in Burlington. That's close to a 4-mile backup. For all of your heating, electrical, septic, and mechanical needs, stop freaking, call Beacon. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
This hour of the John Curley Show is brought to you by Advanced Hair Solutions.
KIRO News Radio, your home for G and Ursula, 9 to noon.
Our very own Sully, you guys know, the traffic guy. Do you go to the produce section? Do you do shopping for vegetables?
He said he went to the produce section.
I was sitting there in the woods.
How long does it take you to shop?
When I'm shopping, it takes me about 5 minutes.
And then Holly texts you and says, will you pick up a couple more things for me?
Yeah, all the time.
How long does it take you?
Probably 45 extra minutes. Because I don't know what those things are.
Streaming live on your smart speaker.
We meet by accident, fixing every last bit, Accurate Auto Body.
If you've been in an auto accident, you have the right to take your vehicle to any repair facility. Accurate Auto Body has been family owned and operated since 1994, and they work for you, not your insurance company. Your insurance company may not love them, but you will, because
We meet by accident, fixing every last bit, Accurate Auto Body.
Hey, it's Dave Ross with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD from Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Dr. Wagner is hosting a free stem cell webinar Thursday, April 24th to explain stem cell therapy.
I'm really looking forward to this live webinar to educate on how using your own stem cells can be an extremely successful method to help regenerate native tissue in rotator cuffs, meniscus tears, and reduce pain in osteoarthritic joints.
And remind us which joints you've had the best success with.
Shoulders, elbows, hips, knees, even wrists and ankles. And in this live webinar, we'll tell you all about the procedure, how simple and safe it is using your own stem cells, and how we determine if you're a candidate.
Dr. Wagner has performed over 20,000 stem cell procedures, so if you're in pain, join him Thursday, April 24th for the free stem cell webinar and learn all about this amazing procedure. Register now at drmarkwagnermd.com. That's drmarkwagnermd.com.
Roof now, pay later. No payments until 2027. 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to 24 months. Hi, Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors here. Since 1968, we've helped homeowners just like you get beautiful, durable roofs without breaking the bank. Look today and lock in summer pricing before it's too late. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com to schedule your free estimate. State Roofing and Exteriors, held to a higher standard since 1968.
The preseason AC sale is on now at Bob's Heating and Air Conditioning. This month only, keep your home cool and your wallet comfortable with 15% off. Plus, free financing on all air conditioners, heat pumps, and ductless systems. Trust the team voted best in the Pacific Northwest and call Bob's today for your free estimate. Hurry, the discount reduces to 10% off in May. Call Bob's Heating and Air Conditioning today.
Bob's Heating and Air Conditioning. Call Bob.
We're here with our friend Steve Teitler of Best Mortgage, the reverse mortgage expert. Steve, mortgage rates have been dropping this year. How could that help seniors struggling to stay in their homes?
Lower mortgage rates means seniors can now get more money from their equity with a reverse mortgage. You can pay off your existing mortgage, have extra money to help with today's high cost of living, or believe it or not, you can even buy a home with a reverse mortgage. There are many uses, and best of all, you have no mortgage payments the rest of your life.
But as you always say, a reverse mortgage is not for everyone.
That's right. Avoid the high-pressure sales pitch from those out-of-state call centers. I give you a consultation, not a sales pitch. I'll tell you if a reverse mortgage is right for you, and I always tell you if it's not.
Honest advice you can trust from the reverse mortgage experts. Best Mortgage, the VA loan experts and debt consolidation specialists too. 425-649-6000. Best Mortgage, 425-649-6000.
Americans love using their credit cards, the most secure and hassle-free way to pay. But D.C. politicians want to change that with the Durbin-Marshall credit card bill. This bill lets corporate megastores pick how your credit card is processed, allowing them to use untested payment networks that jeopardize your data security and rewards. Corporate megastores will make more money, and you pay the price. Tell Congress to guard your card, because Americans lose when politicians choose. Learn more at guardyourcard.com. Paid for by the Electronic Payments Coalition.
Are you looking at diversification and stability with your investment portfolio, especially with the volatility right now in the stock market? Hi, I'm Scott Rireka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital based in Bellevue. We've been running local real estate investment funds for over 18 years. We've had 0 investor losses and have averaged double-digit returns since inception. Maybe it's time to take a little risk off the table given market conditions. For stability, there's no better option than Legacy Group's Northwest Fund, a fixed return of 9%. Legacy's Northwest Fund also accepts IRA accounts as well. Find out why over 1,000 local investors have invested over $250 million in our Legacy family of funds. Get in touch with us today. Legacy's Northwest Fund, returning 9%, has limited opening for new investors right now.
Call 425-635-4700 or visit LegacyG.com. That's LegacyG.com. This is not investment advice. Legacy investments available to accredited investors only. Details at LegacyG.com.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and MyNorthwest.com.
Good evening, I'm Aaron Granillo. A University of Washington student may have his visa reinstated. A federal judge issued that order after ICE terminated the graduate student status due to a pending DUI case 2 years ago. More from KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey.
Chief Judge David Estudio said the government failed to follow its own regulations when they terminated the UW students' records from a federal database that tracks all student visas. Without those records, the Chinese grad student named John Doe in court documents would lose his visa status, ending his doctoral studies. Attorneys for the government argued ICE agents can make edits to their database whenever they want. The judge said while that's true for violent crimes, it's not true for misdemeanors. The judge's order means John Doe now has 14 days to make his case or possibly be detained by ICE. Luke Ducey, KIRO News Radio.
Meantime, at the University of Washington, 23 international students learned their visas have been canceled. UW representatives tell us the cancellations occurred without prior notice to the university or those students. A fight is brewing in Pierce County over immigration enforcement. Sheriff Keith Swank tells KTTH's Jason Rance he's opposed to reaffirming the county's sanctuary status.
Since they didn't get a hold of me, I'm going to reach out to ICE and the Washington, D.C., the Trump administration, Department of Justice, and I'm going to tell them what's going on here and ask them for a hand.
Swank says he may also join a federal immigration enforcement program. The county council is expected to vote soon on the sanctuary resolution. Well, it is billed as a U.S. Supreme Court hearing on birthright citizenship next month, but the Trump administration will ask justices to consider a different issue, whether lower courts can block executive orders for the nation. CBS legal analyst Jan Crawford says it's been a source of frustration for the White House.
Judges have issued nationwide injunctions that one judge that affects the entire country that bans, Trump's arguments on birthright citizenship. That actually is the narrow legal issue that the justices are going to take up.
And that hearing is set for May 15th. We turn now to Nate Connors at the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Desk.
Thanks, Aaron. This report is brought to us by Kia of Everett. Linwood to Seattle, going to take you 25 minutes. Still crowded from Northgate down to the Convention Center. On the east side, we cleared our collision south 405 at 112th. It got you backed up, though, through Factoria. Bellevue to Renton, plan on 15 minutes. Everett to Marysville is down to 15 minutes. We're pretty much cleared out. Just a little slowing between the Snohomish River and 529. South 5 remains crowded through Marysville, starting at Smoky Point, all the way down to the Union Slough. Arlington to Everett has a 20-minute delay, taking you about 35 minutes. In Mount Vernon, South 5 at Kincaid Street. Your left lane remains blocked from a crash. You're backed up bumper to bumper to State Route 20 in Burlington, about a 3-mile backup here. And out toward Deception Pass, we're seeing a good 4 miles solid backup on westbound 20 starting at Campbell Lake Road all the way down to the Deception Pass Bridge. I don't have any cameras, and I'm not receiving any reports of what's causing this. Obviously, we've got a collision or something fully blocking there on the bridge. Kia of Everett makes the process of buying your new Kia as exciting as driving it home. The best drive you'll ever take is the Kia of Everett. Simple, easy, fun. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
Forecast now brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Staying calm tonight. Come tomorrow, we will see some clouds develop, scattered showers at times. Same for Easter Sunday. I'm Aaron Gordillo, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
All right, welcome back, everybody. John Curley Show. Oh, breaking news. Oh, no. Look out, breaking news. Jake Paul goes back into the ring. What did you say?
Ugh.
Joe says, ugh.
I second that.
Aaron says seconds that. Double ugh. Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. 37-year-old Chavez will go back into the ring, comes out of retirement, take on Jake Paul.
Does he only take on people who come out of retirement? Is that his thing?
Yes.
That is his thing.
Okay.
Yes.
I think he's only fought one boxer who...
He's taking on Celine Dion next.
She's got stiff face syndrome or something.
Okay, you have to bring that up.
Well, I mean, she...
That could help.
You think?
I don't know. Aaron, would that help?
Oh, boy. I'm not going to go there.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Breaking news again. Breaking news. Aaron will not go there.
Yes.
Okay. It's the update for everybody.
Thank you.
By the way, that's going to be one of the quiz questions.
Oh, good. Right. Number again, please?
Yes, 1-888-973-5476. 1-888-973-5476. One interesting... Thank you, Teeny. That doesn't mean anything to anybody. One interesting thing about yourself to Joe. Find yourself on the radio answering how many questions I write during the show, and then send it to Joe, and then you win yourself a whole box of Bite Me Cookies, the official cookie of the John Curley Show.
Oh, the cookies!
Okay, there we go. Boy, I tell you, we play that Casey Kasem thing, cursing like 50 times in the thing, and then I bring on a Catholic priest. That was good timing.
I know.
Really good time. Thanks, Joe.
Total accident.
Yeah. Sure, probably Brian's like, oh my God, what is this show I'm going on?
He was laughing. I was watching his
Was
face.
he enjoying it?
He was.
Okay, it's ponderous. Get down on the phone. Alrighty. Yeah, it is Easter. I decided, I don't know, I was cleaning up. Nick and I are moving from one apartment. Nicole and I are moving from one apartment over to the other one. We took Jack's apartment. Remember, Jack Steins.
Floor to ceiling window.
Floor to ceiling, expensive apartment. Too expensive. Why do you have that apartment? So when they gave him the old heave-ho here, gave him a chance to spend more time with his family and pursue other interests.
In Hawaii, by the way.
Yes, he's in Hawaii doing well. I owe him another call. He's doing really well, by the way. So he said, God, I got that apartment. I got this. They're not going to let me have this like $15,000 or something. I said, okay, I'll take the apartment. So I took the apartment from him. And then I thought, why are we in this big, stupid apartment with all the big windows and everything? I could live in a box, a small box. I said, Nick, go. So Nick's like, she's the Doge of the Curley family.
Right.
So I think we're saving like $700 a month. Which then I realized, oh, well, that's just the money we're wasting on the boat now. So we're not really saving it. We're just moving around, moving the deck chairs around of the Titanic, the Curly Titanic going down.
So are you moving into a different apartment in the same building?
Same building. We're moving 2 or 3 floors up and a couple over into a smaller spot. So we're saving money. So I timed it perfectly. I was able to leave just as she has to move everything. So
oh, that's big of you. What a husband.
Only one thing counts in this life. Get them to sign
on the line that is dotted. I called her during the break, and I hear like, I'm moving the mattress now. Like, harder than moving a mattress by yourself.
Why doesn't she wait until you're off?
Oh, don't encourage that type of thing.
Poor Nick.
These women fought hard for equal rights. Let them have it.
Okay.
Move on everything. Move it on.
Bing.
Exactly.
Unbelievable.
So there she goes, across there. I met the guy that runs the building over there. Nice guy named Nick as well. And he said, I used to watch Evening Magazine all the time and talking to him. I said, you know what's really weird about the people that live in this building? Nobody engages with anybody. I still do that thing on Monday where these people get in the elevator, no one says anything. So always like, how's everybody's Monday going? Hey, we're looking forward to Monday.
You give him the finger guns?
I did the finger. I'm John. I'm over there in 231. How's everybody doing? No, you're on the 7th floor. Whoa.
Wow.
Yeah, fancy floor.
You make any friends yet?
Nope, nobody really likes me.
I thought you met a doctor.
Met a doctor. Was up there trying to figure out how to work the fancy grill that they have. Talking to this doctor, he works with people that have drug problems and they're homeless and stuff. He's over at Harborview. He's finishing up his internship here, or his residency here, and then he's moving to Baltimore. Nice guy, very interesting young man.
And he would work 36 hours straight, I think he said?
Yeah, he did. He just finished that 36-hour thing, and he was still more
energized?
Yeah, than I was at the time while I was struggling to how to cook a piece of chicken. This being Good Friday, we just had Father Brian on. We talked all about, Good Friday and Catholicism and Christianity and stuff like that. It was nice to see the text message that came in from a lot of folks. The Creasters, those are the people that go to Mass, go to church on Christmas and Easter. I used to have I was an altar boy, and I had this great priest by the name of Father Dreary, which fit him sometimes, and other times it didn't. And he used to do this thing. He used to say this all the time when on Creaster, Christmas and Easter. He used to say, for those of you sitting in the front, that's good. God's got old eyes so he can see you. You in the back. All of you in the back. He used to call them sharpshooters because they weren't kneeling all the way down. They were kneeling on one knee. He used to call them the sharpshooters. Hey, sharpshooters in the back. There's plenty of room up front. Come on up. Come on up. God's got old eyes. If they want this to count, you better come on up. And like a few of them would straggle up to the front, but most of them, all the sharpshooters stayed way in the back of the church. I went to 12 or 13 years of Catholic school. I failed fourth grade twice. I was sort of I was struggling.
Chris Pantioni pointed that out.
Yes, I was not exactly the scholar. I would have done much better if only the child next to me had applied themselves a little harder.
Yeah. It's always nice to cheat off someone.
Oh, got to. Yeah. So here's the way I used to work at St. Aloysius. Every first Friday of the month. I ran out of time. Move on. You have not heard this one. It's a good story.
We spent the whole segment talking about your apartment, and we don't have time. Yeah. Tell him, Andrew.
Look at you. Oh, breaking news. Yeah. Andrew corrects me for telling a story about the apartment.
Unbelievable.
Well, hopefully we have time for it.
We'll finish it next. We got time next.
Okay. Don't interrupt me then, Andrew, with your whatever. Here's Nate, the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Desk.
Yes, sir. Beacon Plumbing has our update. We're starting to thin out there. Linwood to Seattle at 25 minutes. Still crowded from Northgate to the Convention Center, but no longer a bumper-to-bumper grind here. South 5 remains crowded through Marysville between Smoky Point near State Route 531 and the Union Slough, Arlington to Everett, taking about a half hour. Up in Mount Vernon, we just cleared that long-term collision South 5 at Kincaid Street. You're backed up to State Route 20, but this is quickly thinning out. Out toward Deception Pass, we're still looking at a 4-mile solid backup westbound 20 from Campbell Lake Road right to the Deception Pass Bridge. Again, I haven't got a confirmation what's going on up there, but obviously we've got a blockage on the bridge. On the water, the Seattle-Bainbridge Island route has a 90-minute wait for drivers at the Seattle terminal. Edmonds has a 2-hour wait for drivers at that terminal, and the Mukilteo terminal reporting a 1-hour wait for drivers. For all of your heating, electrical, septic, and mechanical needs, stop freaking. Call Beacon. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
At KIRO News Radio, our commitment goes beyond delivering the latest headlines.
Authorities say they've busted a violent drug trafficking ring in Seattle.
Mayor Bruce Harrell says this operation should go a long way toward putting a stop to crime in the CID.
We dive deep into the stories that matter, helping you understand the impact on your community and your life.
Even if you do get caught, you're gonna probably get a small little smack on the hand.
You can have your opinions, I can have mine.
KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
Attention! If you owe money to the IRS, this is an urgent message. The IRS is cracking down by sending out collection letters, garnishing paychecks, seizing bank accounts, and putting liens on homes and businesses. They call it enforced compliance, and you better watch out because penalties and interest on unpaid taxes compound daily, making it even harder to get out of debt. Don't let tax debt destroy your life. You need to call Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax resolution firm. They're experts in taxpayer assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, Optima's resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. Let them fight on your behalf, helping to put your tax problems to rest. Call the tax professionals at Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-783-8055. 800-783-8055. 800-783-8055.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
When the heat's an 11, cool AC would be heaven.
DayandNight.net.
Beat the rush. Act now before summer, because that heat's a real bummer.
DayandNight.net.
Even though our Northwest summers can be spectacular, there's always a long, hot stretch that makes everyone say, man, AC sure would be nice. Well, except for that one annoying friend who won't stop talking about how great his AC is. Hi, I'm Bruce with Day and Night Plumbing and Heating. You can stay comfortably cool when those hot temps arrive. This is the time to plan ahead and call us about installing a high-efficiency AC or heat pump. Or if you have an existing system, we'll come and service it. Make sure it's running efficiently and ready to cool when you need it.
Before the summer heat wave, keep your house cool and save.
DayandNight.net.
Save up to $4,600 on qualifying cooling equipment, plus no payments or interest for a year OAC. Don't sweat it out this summer. Stay cool with Day and Night.
DayandNight.net.
Amanda here for Care Partners Senior Living. Our communities offer safe living spaces with medical professionals on site and ready to help. With locations throughout Washington and Arizona, you'll find a Care Partners community near you. Learn more at carepartnersliving.com.
It's a new year, but many seniors are struggling with the same old problem: high prices and rising property taxes. We're here with our friend Steve Teitler of Best Mortgage, and he says a reverse mortgage may be the answer.
Many seniors cannot afford to stay in the home they love. A reverse mortgage gives them access to equity in their home without having to sell. They can pay off their mortgage if they have one, and maybe pull some extra cash out of their home. And best of all, they have no mortgage payment the rest of their life.
But as you always say, a reverse mortgage is not for everyone.
That's right. Avoid the high-pressure sales pitch from those out-of-state call centers. I give you a consultation, not a sales pitch. I'll tell you if a reverse mortgage is right for you, and I always tell you if it's not.
Honest advice you can trust from the reverse mortgage experts. Best Mortgage. The VA loan experts and debt consolidation specialists too. 425-649-6000. Best Mortgage. 425-649-6000.
Are you putting off your new kitchen plans? Why wait? Hi, I'm Chad Cicchini, owner of Heritage Homecraft, and we've got an offer you're not going to want to wait for. We'll custom build you all new cabinet doors and drawer fronts, and using our exclusive 1/4-inch solid wood refacing process, transform your existing cabinets into a beautiful new kitchen. Add a custom quartz countertop, change things up a bit, add some more cabinets, install some cool new features like soft close drawers and sliding shelves. Whatever you like, we'll help you create the new kitchen you'll be proud of. All in about a week, and all with way less mess, hassle, and expense than a tear out. Stop waiting. We're having a trade-in sale. You'll save $30 per door and drawer front off the cost of your new kitchen. Count them up and see how much you'll save. Years of experience, thousands of happy customers. Call today and let one of our pros come out and show you how easy and comfortable it'll be to get going on your new kitchen. Heritage Homecraft, 425-485-1600, 425-485-1600, or heritagehomecraft.com.
Hey, it's Dave Ross with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD from Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Dr. Wagner is hosting a free stem cell webinar Thursday, April 24th to explain stem cell therapy.
I'm really looking forward to this live webinar to educate on how using your own stem cells can be an extremely successful method to help regenerate native tissue in rotator cuffs, meniscus tears, and reduce pain in osteoarthritic joints.
And remind us which joints you've had the best success with.
Shoulders, elbows, elbows, hips, knees, even wrists and ankles. And in this live webinar, we'll tell you all about the procedure, how simple and safe it is using your own stem cells, and how we determine if you're a candidate.
Dr. Wagner has performed over 20,000 stem cell procedures, so if you're in pain, join him Thursday, April 24th for the free stem cell webinar and learn all about this amazing procedure. Register now at drmarkwagnermd.com. That's drmarkwagnermd.com.
Bonneville International radio station contests are open to participants 18 years of age or older that are residents of Washington State unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contest are not eligible to win unless the station otherwise specifies at its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 60 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available on mynorthwest.com or in person at the station during regular business hours.
All right, before Andrew so rudely interrupted me with Nate's traffic. So I go to Catholic school. I wasn't the best student. I'd like to create a lot of chaos because it just meant that we didn't have to sit in class.
Yeah.
So every first Friday, we'd have to have confession. We'd have confession, and the way it would work is the 8th grade class. There was an 8A and 8B, and 8A would be excused. We all sat alphabetically, and the first student would be excused at 8:30 in the morning and would start walking down the hallway down to the chapel. And then the next student, the nuns would like release us like airplanes. We'd then next kid and next kid, and they just keep going and going and going. Then 8B would go, and then 7A, 7B. You get the idea all the way. So poor Father Mac, who used to have to sit in the confessional booth and listen to probably the same stupid 3 confessions. I was disrespectful to my mother. I lied to my father, and, whatever else it was, just something else. It was always the same sort of thing. So I'm down there getting yelled at in the principal's office. I get a call. They get a call that Father Mac is not going to be there. There will be no priest to hear confessions on this particular First Friday. So Curly, go up there and tell sister not to release the students. So I'm walking up the hallway, and I see Chris, I can't remember his last name, began with a B. Or is it Chris something or other?
Brown.
Yeah, Chris Brown's coming down, and he looked like he had a lot to say. Like he looked like he was carrying the weight of the world on his shoulders. And I thought, well, this guy looks like he needs confession. So that, if I get ahead of him, I turn around and head down there. Since Father Mac's not going to be there, why not? Something to do. So I sat in the confessional booth where Father Mac would sit. And I heard 8A, 8B, and 7A until finally I got caught. And the way I got caught was I was in there for a long time, and I was doing, the bless me, Father, for I've sinned. It's been for 3 weeks since my last confession. I was disrespectful to my mother. I lied to and I hit my brother, stuff like that. Well, this one guy comes in and says that he had, touched himself in an impure manner. And then when I asked for more specifics, he started to cry. And then he ran out of the confessional booth, and he was standing there. And the nun then knocked at the door to ask Father Mac what was happening. Right. And I was the one in that. And I thought to myself, I could just say, I got into the wrong box.
Right. Yeah. That happens, I'm sure.
And I got at it when I walked out of there. That all the kids that had realized, because they were all doing their Hail Marys and Our Fathers, that I had heard all their confessions.
Did you hear anything really?
No, nothing good. Only that one guy.
So what kind of trouble did you get in for?
Oh, I got it suspended. And that's it. I mean, that is it. There's a venial sin and a mortal sin. I'm going to have a lot of explaining to do when I get to heaven on that one.
And now you know the rest of the story.
Father Mac. Yeah. All right. 2 Hail Marys for Our Fathers. Just stuff like that's what he sounded like anyway. So it's really easy. I was going to have him do jumping jacks and push-ups on the altar, but that would have been really bad.
That would have been a dead giveaway.
Phew. Just something to create chaos. I didn't have to sit in class.
Attaboy.
Let's go to Nate over there, also creating chaos in his own way. Peak and Plumbing traffic
Thanks a lot, John. Linwood of Seattle taking you 25 minutes. You're still crowded from Northgate to the convention center. North 5 through Seattle. Got a little slowing approaching the West Seattle Bridge in the downtown. Nothing much here to be concerned about. I just want you to be aware of it. South 5 remains crowded through Marysville, but it is improving. You're slow from the Outlet Mall now down to the Union Slough. North 5 through Everett into Marysville is cleared out. South 405 remains just a little crowded from South Bellevue through Factoria down about 112th, where we recently cleared a collision. Bellevue to Renton's going to take you 20. Out toward Deception Pass, we're still looking at about a 4-mile solid backup. It's westbound 20 from Campbell Lake Road down to the Deception Pass Bridge, where we've got a blocking issue at the bridge. And on the water, things are slowly improving. Seattle to Bainbridge Island still looking at about an hour wait for drivers at the Seattle Terminal. Edmonds Terminal still reporting about a 2-hour wait for drivers, but the Mukilteo Terminal no longer has any wait for drivers. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
KIRO News Radio delivers the news you can trust.
State is facing a multi-billion-dollar deficit.
Government wants more of your money to build, quote-unquote, affordable housing.
We help you navigate the headlines, providing clarity and context to help you understand how today's events impact your life tomorrow.
The driver pulled out a gun. The officer opened fire, shooting at least one time.
The problem is worse in King County than any other part of the country.
Stay informed. Stay connected with KIRO News Radio.
We live in one of the most beautiful places on earth, and owning your own deck is a great way to enjoy it. But finding the right decking solution can be overwhelming. That's why all 9 of our Puget Sound locations offer decking showrooms, so you can get your hands and toes on the more than 60 decking options we carry. So if you have any questions about building, maintaining, or repairing your deck, contact me personally, Mike Dunn at DunnLumber.com.
Fiber on decking is now available at Dunn Lumber, your deck headquarters.
Your best source for local news. KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is for you too. Stubborn fat is really hard to get rid of, and then there's all those gimmicky lasers, fat freezing methods, and prescriptions. Imagine a simple solution that takes just one day and provides immediate noticeable results. Introducing ProSculpt. ProSculpt uses air-assisted technology that's safe and gentle yet powerful, delivering instant fat-reducing and skin-tightening results. Performed by board-certified plastic surgeons while fully awake, ProSculpt contours your body with minimal downtime. It's designed to target those problem areas: waistline, neck, face, arms, thighs. ProSculpt gently removes unwanted fat and tightens loose skin with FDA-cleared plasma technology, all in a simple, guaranteed one-day procedure. ProSculpt is one and done. Schedule your free consultation at prosculpt.com for $250 off. For powerful permanent fat removal and skin tightening that works for ladies and you men, it's prosculpt.com.
Swim your way to a healthier you with an endless pool swim spa from Olympic Hot Tub. During our spring savings event, save up to $9,000 on an endless pools package, free Bluetooth music, and more. OlympicHotTub.com. Better you, better life.
I've always been a super athletic guy, but after I turned 40, I noticed I was slowing down. Instead of hitting the gym after work, I spent my evenings on the couch with a bag of chips. I was gaining weight, losing muscle, and when I did try to work out, I ran out of energy right away. One of my buddies suggested I book a free testosterone check at Revive Health, and that's when I learned that low T doesn't just impact how guys perform in the bedroom. I worked with a provider to create my custom treatment plan, and today I'm feeling stronger than ever. Last week, I even set a new PR at the gym. My only regret is not reaching out sooner.
If you're ready to book your free T-check, visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com or call 206-529-1111. Again, that's 206-529-1111.
Are you working in the refrigeration industry? Are you staying up on current regulations? Well, Local 32 can help advance your career. That's right. Learn more at ualocal32.com. Again, that's ualocal32.com.
Getting a flu shot helps us stay healthy, so we don't miss out on what matters. Like that family movie night your daughter can't live without. Yeah, can't do that. Every year, millions of people in the U.S. get the flu. Especially now, no one has time to miss out on moments that matter. So get your flu shot. Find out more at getmyflushot.org. Brought to you by the AMA, CDC, and the Ad Council.
Stop struggling to get your job posts seen on other job sites. Indeed's Sponsored Jobs feature helps you stand out and hire fast. Start at Indeed.com/credit.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-230-2777. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-230-2777. That's 800-230-2777 for $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-230-2777. 800-230-2777.
Your best source for local news. KIRO News Radio. KIRO FM and HD1. Tacoma, Seattle. Northwest News.